Fulham against Arsenal with Franny Benali and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Thank you, Mark. We've enjoyed a really atmospheric build-up to this one in this cosy corner of West London. Referee Anthony Taylor is about to blow the whistle to start the game. The players have all taken the knee ahead of kick-off as part of the Premier League's message. The Premier League reinforcing the message this weekend. No room for racism in the game of football, in society at large. And this Premier League game is underway with Fulham on the attack, all in white, shooting towards the Putney end away to our left-hand side. Ryan Sessegnon on the dribble, stopped in his tracks by Jurien Timber, who clears up towards the halfway line, and Gyökeres tries to keep that in play. Couple of touches and it runs over the touchline and goes out for a throw-in to Fulham. Some famous faces in the crowd this evening, I'm told. Mick Jagger sitting in the cottage away to our left-hand side. I'm sure the cameras will pick him out. And Ted Lasso in the house as well. Might tell him there's a job going at Nottingham Forest if he fancies that. And Postecoglou sacked today after their 3-0 defeat at home to Chelsea. We want your reaction to that on 6:06 tonight, which follows this second Premier League commentary of the day on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Arsenal, they've been supplanted at the top of the Premier League table with Manchester City's 2-0 win against Everton. They are behind City on goal difference only. Win this one and they will have a 3-point lead this Saturday night. Tom Cairney playing a ball into the Fulham midfield, into the feet of one of the former Arsenal players involved here. Iwobi back to another one of those, Bernd Leno. Little touch off Saka's foot as Fulham play up the left-hand side, and it goes out for a throw into Fulham in the left-back position. Good evening, welcome Franny Benali. Looking forward to this one.
Very much so, Ali. Great to join you again. And you mentioned about Ted Lasso being in the crowd today. I would have grown my moustache back in honour of him if I'd known. I needed at least a few days to have a good bit of growth, but really looking forward to this one. This has been the best opportunity for Fulham to pick up their points with the performances and results they've had here so far this season. But you've got to say it's going to be a huge test and a difficult challenge for them this afternoon, coming up against this Arsenal side that are just so positive, full of confidence and so hard to beat at the moment.
Strong tackle by Timothy Castagna on Leandro Trossard. Arsenal get a free kick. Arsenal in change kit this evening, so playing from left to right in the first half as we look out from our commentary position in the Johnny Haynes stand. That is dark blue shirts with red trim and white numbers on the back. One change from the 2-0 win against West Ham, which came before the international break. Zubamendi in for Ødegaard. Here's Gyökeres chasing a long ball through into the Fulham penalty area. Leno off his line quickly and grabs it just inside the box. So Arsenal have Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori, Eza, Zubamendi and Rice, Saka, Gyökeres and Trossard. But this is Fulham coming forward, as you can probably tell from the noise in the Johnny Haynes stand around us. Saliba intercepts, the clearance only finds Iwobi. Cross comes in, Gabriel heads it away. Flying volley from Trossard, the ball bounces once short of the halfway line. Joachim Andersen is there, short pass forward into the feet of Sander Berge. Good sharp start by Fulham, knocking it around nicely. Harry Wilson receives the ball wide on the right and he plays back into his own half. The good news for Fulham is that Raul Jimenez is fit to start the game, and here he goes chasing a long ball downfield. It bounces once into the arms of David Raya. That will make a massive difference though, Franny, won't it? Having a recognised centre forward. Josh King, the 18-year-old, had to do that job in the last game against Bournemouth. Yeah,
and it's one of those key positions, Ali, isn't it? Asking a young 18-year-old as good as he is and as talented as he is to sort of take that major position and be the major goal threat is a lot to ask on a youngster's shoulders. So having Jimenez back in, his experience, what he brings to the side, and hopefully some goals from Fulham's perspective as well, will be a big bonus for them.
3 minutes in, 5 Live and BBC Sounds at Craven Cottage, which is buzzing this evening on the banks of the Thames. Declan Rice gets on the ball for the first time for Arsenal. Couple of strides to his left, finds Trossard. Trossard floats one over the top. Anderson heads it straight up in the air. Gyökeres underneath it here. Cuenca's trying to hold him off and does so. And it ends up in the arms of Bernd Leno. I do know Ted Lasso's not his real name, by the way. Jason Sudeikis is his real name, just in case we get messages in. But Jason Sudeikis apparently is sitting in that giant Riverside stand opposite us. Jimenez chests the ball down inside the Fulham half, appeals for a handball, but actually it's knocked out of play by Zubamendi for a Fulham throw. So 3 changes for them from that 3-1 defeat at Bournemouth before the international break. Jorge Cuenca, centre-back. He comes in for only a second Premier League start of the season, his second season at the club, having joined from Villarreal. Issa Diop drops to the bench. So does Calvin Bassey. Tom Cairney has come in for him, making a first Premier League start of the season, the experienced Scotsman in central midfield. Ryan Sessegnon's dropped to left back. Jimenez is in for the injured Sasha Lukic. So it's Leno in goal, Castagna, Anderson, Cuenca and Sessegnon as the back four, Berger and Kearney, then Harry Wilson, Josh King, Alex Iwobi and Raul Jimenez up top. Trossard's lost it just inside the Fulham half. King, 50-50 challenge with Zubamendi. King goes down right under the nose of Anthony Taylor, who doesn't give a free kick. Diagonal ball quickly shipped out to the right hand side by Rice. Saka takes it down and moves with the ball in his stride, lays it back to Timber just outside the penalty area. Little touch, he moves it to the left, finds Calafiori, one touch from him wide to Trossard. Trossard trying to take on Castagna and then balloons the cross over the bar and behind for the goal kick to Fulham. So 5.5 minutes in, Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Franny Benali.
Really bright start from both teams, Ali, isn't it? And it's interesting, sort of the amount of times Arsenal, yes, they can play incredible football, but they're quite happy to go quite long up to Gyökeres, aren't they? Pretty direct, looking to play the ball in the channels. He'll put them under the centre halves of Fulham, working them physically and running into those channels, but Fulham have been pretty positive as well with their sharpness and the crispness in the ball that they've played around so far.
Lost their last two games, Fulham, both away from home at Villa and Bournemouth. They've won their last two at home against Leeds and Brentford. Saka under pressure from Sessegnon, can't control the ball. Fulham whack it high in the air. Gabriel leans forward, heads it towards Rice. Rice wins it off King and Arsenal move it quickly to the right. Timber crosses the halfway line, plays it to Eze, seems to have... There's three white shirts around him now. I know they're not close to him all the time in the world. Little pirouette on the ball. Gets involved again, feeds it to Gabriel. Wide it goes to the little figure of Trossard. Trossard over on the far side of the field to where we're sitting. Back it comes towards us now. Here's Timber, who's had such a fabulous start of the season for Arsenal. And then Saka, caught by Sessegnon, made a little bit of that, I think, but it was a free kick, and Arsenal get the decision, and the free kick is midway inside the Fulham half, taken quickly by Timber. Gyökeres was alert, and Anthony Taylor's actually going to pull that back. Gyökeres, Franny, hasn't scored in his last 8 games for club and country, and for a man who's been so used to being so prolific, you know, at Coventry, in this country, and then obviously Sporting for the last couple of seasons, just on a little run at the moment without a goal. Saka's cross into the Fulham box, headed away, cushioned down by Trossard, finds Calafiori, another cross into the far post. Sessegnon heads it away for Fulham, bounces in front of Rice, and the pressure on the Fulham defence is incessant, and the ball is knocked out off Josh King, and that will be an Arsenal throw which Saka takes. Yeah,
just coming back to Gyökeres, Ali, as you mentioned, he'll be frustrated not to be scoring more prolific what he has done so far. Those, was it 97 goals and 102 appearances, something like that at Sporting? So, you know, he'll want to be sort of getting on the score sheet more regularly than what he has done so far. But we've heard Mikel Arteta already saying it's not just the goals that he brings to the side, it's what else he brings with that presence and the runs that he makes up on that high line for Arsenal. Trossard's ball finds Rice just outside the Fulham box, slides it into the channel. Gyökeres bundles a ball back into the box. Eze was trying to get on the end of it, just didn't get the proper contact on the cross, and Fulham have cleared it for an Arsenal throw, attacking position on the left-hand side. Talking Arsenal goal scorers, producer George pointed out to me this morning, 20 years ago today, Thierry Henry scored 2 goals away against Sparta Prague in the Champions League. The first one equalled Ian Wright as Arsenal's record goal scorer of all time. The second one took him past him. 20 years ago today. That time has absolutely... I can still picture Henry playing for Arsenal. I mean, he's probably fit enough still to be out there, Franny. I know that, you know, Ian Wright and Henry were incredible players and goal scorers, weren't they? And I remember Ian Wright giving me many nightmares over the years. The goals he scored against us, he was a real pain to play against, but what fabulous footballers they both were. Yeah, 2 fabulous Arsenal strikers. Jimenez flick on here. That lands at the feet of Calafiori, and Arsenal will start to build inside their own half. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. More reaction to all the football at half-time. Big news of the day, Ange Postecoglou sacked within less than half an hour of the Nottingham Forest 3-0 defeat at home to Chelsea. Fulham have broken an Arsenal move up, and Harry Wilson nearly played in by Jimenez on the right. He will be able to keep this ball in play down by the ball line in front of those Arsenal fans. Supporting run from Castagna. Trossard did so well for his team there to cover that run, come back and make the challenge, and eventually Gabriel hoists it downfield. It clears Gyökeres,
and goes all the way through to Leno. Good atmosphere in here this evening.
Yeah, and the Fulham players have got to really make use of that as well. The home support behind them. They've seen some positive results and points here at Craven Cottage so far this season. So the players have got to use that. They've got to use that as fuel, keep the momentum up. And we saw it there, how they smothered out Eze in midfield. Then all of a sudden it was Wilson who broke forward, looking for that sharp counter-attack.
Fulham fans won't thank me for saying this, but Marco Silva is one of the names that has been mentioned in connection with the Nottingham Forest job. I think it would cost a pretty penny to get him out of Fulham in his 5th season in charge here, and Fulham enjoying a good spell back in the Premier League. So we'll have no more mention of that. Fulham fans won't thank us for it. 10 minutes into the first half, here's Gabriel. That pass is intercepted. There's King. Wilson on the move for Fulham down the right. Players have got to get forward to support him. Slides the pass towards Jimenez. Tries to hit it first time across goal. Nearly ran into the path of Iwobi. Just beyond him. It bobbles behind. But the last touch came off an Arsenal player, and that will be a corner for Fulham, who are giving as good as they get so far.
They are, and it was a poor placed pass, as you mentioned, from Gabriel. But look how quick Fulham react. They got bodies. Jimenez making a run forward, and he's certainly happy to try and shoot from a tight angle.
1 goal so far for Raul Jimenez this season. Here's Iwobi. Corner is floated deep. Hit on the volley and blocked. That was a really good strike. I think Joachim Andersen struck that on the left foot volley. He caught it very, very sweetly. Fulham have worked it to the left. Rice is in there to intercept. Clears on the half volley on the turn. And Anthony Taylor maybe waited for a second there. I wonder whether VAR were looking at a possible handball on the block on the volley. Well worked. No, it wasn't. Who hit? Was it Kearney? Kearney, yeah. Kearney with the left foot volley.
Fabulous strike. Yeah. It looked certainly one off the training ground, Ali, didn't it? Yeah. It was well worked. Picked him out, edge of the box. It was just there was a lot of bodies to try and get the shot through. Yeah.
Caught one of the Arsenal defenders in the midriff, and I think that's why VAR just had a look for a second to see whether there was any potential handball involved, which there wasn't. Here's Saka back to Eze. First time ball. Gyökeres won't get that. Gives up the chase, and it runs all the way through to Bernd Leno. So yeah, he's a former Arsenal player in goal for Fulham. Has never kept a clean sheet against his former club Arsenal. Iwobi starting. He's played 10 times against his former club and has never scored against them. Emile Smith-Rowe is on the bench as well. So there are plenty of Arsenal alumni involved here at Craven Cottage. There's Trossard's ball back to Gabriel. Loose pass again from Gabriel. Jimenez is onto this one. Finds Berger. Good ball to Wilson. Tries the shot and nearly finds the bottom corner. Didn't go for power there, just went for placement. David Raya had the angles right, but he was concerned the ball curled past him and also went beyond the post. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0.
Well, not for the first time already this afternoon. We've seen Arsenal trying to play out from the back, and Fulham just pounce on the mistake. They intercept the pass. And it's Wilson with the shot, as you say, takes it early, trying to place it in the far corner. Just can't get enough curl on the ball on target.
Here's Anderson chasing a flicked header back to the edge of his own penalty area. Saka is the closest to him. Anderson plays the ball forward. Zubimendi stretches out a left leg, gets a grazing touch on the ball, and it runs here to William Saliba. 3 goals conceded in 10 games in all competitions by Arsenal so far this season, all of those in the Premier League. One in the 1-0 defeat away to Liverpool. That was the Soboslai stunner. Erling Haaland scored against them at the Emirates. That game finished 1-1, and the other one came away at Newcastle. But Arsenal historians have worked out, I think it's, in terms of a start to the season defensively, they reckon it is the best in the club's history. So bar none this season, the best performance by any Arsenal defence after 10 games in all competitions. They're knocking the ball around for fun inside their own half. It comes across here to Timber.
There's been some late goals as well, hasn't there, Ali, in those wins, you know, so they're showing that resilience throughout the game, staying in matches, scoring late winners, important goals in a late stage of the game. It's always a good sign, I think, from a quality side.
Comfortable possession for Arsenal at the moment. Coming up to 15 minutes played. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Here's Saliba creeping forward inside his own half. Sees his path blocked by Jimenez. Rolls it across to Gabriel, who purposely side-foots the ball down the left to Trossard. Tries to turn away from Castagna. Belgian against Belgian over there. Castagna gets a foot in, and out it goes for the throw-in to Arsenal in front of the two team benches there. Calafiori in front of his manager Mikel Arteta in the dark black coat this evening. Grey skies above us, but not overly chilly. Nice evening for your football. Here's Timber. 2 more Premier League commentaries coming your way tomorrow on 5 Live. Spurs against Villa at 2 o'clock in the company of Jonathan Pearce and Rob Green. Jonathan's doing this game for Match of the Day tonight, so you hear his dulcet tones on that show this evening. And then the big one at Anfield tomorrow. Full commentary, Liverpool, Manchester United. What a hit! What a hit from Ricardo Calafiori with his left foot. But the flag is up, it will not count. It was the long diagonal taken down by Trossard. Calafiori had continued the run forward. We've seen him do that before for Arsenal. He shakes his head. He's livid with himself. He's in an offside position. He made the run through the middle. Trossard lays it off. They'll have a look at that. Franny, do you think that's going to be offside?
I think he's going to just very, very slightly. It's harsh because it's a fabulous move from Arsenal. The ball in from Trossard and a finish from Calafiori. What a strike with his left foot. There's no stopping it. And it has been disallowed.
Calafiori offside. What a strike on the half volley. It remains Fulham 0, Arsenal 0, and the decision is made clear on the big screen. Big screens at both ends of the ground. Timber's lost it to Sessegnon. Wants a free kick, he's not going to get it. Sessegnon curls that low ball into the Arsenal penalty area. Dealt with for now by Zubamendi. Iwobi has it. Sessegnon still there on the left, down by the byline. Cuts this back. Arsenal have got it away again, and then there's a foul given for a challenge by Raul Jimenez inside the Arsenal penalty area in his desperation to win the ball back. Anthony Taylor says he's committed the foul, and Arsenal have a chance to clear their lines. Great start to this game though, 16 minutes in, Fulham 0, Arsenal 0.
Great play, as you mentioned, Ali, from Fulham, but you've got to say it's Arsenal that are causing their own problems. Timber on that occasion, a little bit sloppy, getting caught on the ball. Gabriel's been the same, few poor passes on the other side. They've just got to be that little bit crisper, a little bit sharper, because Fulham have certainly come out the traps from the first whistle to press Arsenal in these opening stages.
Draw, of course, will take Arsenal back top of the table, a point ahead of Manchester City. Liverpool, Manchester United, yes, full commentary on that tomorrow. Kicks off at 4:30 at Anfield. John Murray, or Golden Face as he's now known. You've got to listen to the latest episode of the Commentator's View podcast to find out why. He's alongside Stephen Warnock for that game. Here's Josh King on the right for Fulham. They've made a really bright start. Left-footed strike is headed over the bar by Declan Rice, and had Rice not been in the way, that would have tested David Raya. Arsenal under the cosh a little bit here.
They certainly are, and the home supporters are behind them. It's just the positivity. Josh King takes a couple little touches, cuts inside. Probably was going straight towards the goalkeeper, but they've won another corner, and the supporters are showing their appreciation from what they're seeing from their team so far.
Craven Cottage is jam-packed. Fulham have been awkward opponents at Craven Cottage last couple of seasons for Arsenal. Arsenal not won on the last 2 visits. As that corner comes into the near post, Jimenez, I think, might have got a touch on that. Timber blocks it. It'll be another corner for Fulham. Finished 1-1 here last season. And the season before that, Arsenal came here on New Year's Eve and lost that game by 2 goals to 1. Another corner for Fulham will come in from the right. 18 minutes played in the first half. 2 Fulham players over there. Iwobi and Wilson. Wilson runs over it. Iwobi with an away swinger. Jimenez thinking about the volley. He might have caught Eza there. Eza's down holding his head. That'll be a free kick to Arsenal inside their own penalty area. As we know, Arsenal are difficult to score against, but Fulham are doing their damnedest to do that. Nice exchange between Jimenez and Eza there. Jimenez admits the wrongdoing, yet went for the volley with his right foot and caught Eza on the head. And of course it was against Arsenal that Jimenez had that horrible head clash which caused a really bad head injury 5 years ago now. David Luiz playing for Arsenal on that day. And here is William Saliba on the ball for Mikel Arteta's team. Zubamendi comes back to help out, gives it back to Saliba, walking pace up towards the halfway line, plays to his right to Timber, doesn't see an option going forward, so across he comes to Saliba again, short ball forward to Rice, who gives it straight back to the giant French centre-back who wears number 2 for Arsenal. Rice stays back there. Saliba gives the ball to him. Rice looks forward again and then just flicks it back to Saliba, who goes through the lines towards Calafiori, who's popped up in midfield. It's come straight back to Saliba again, hesitates slightly, uses Gabriel, and again Saliba's the main man here trying to make it happen. Low pass up towards Saka, who's coming off the right hand touchline. He receives it, gives it back to Saliba, forward to Eza, and Eza, his pass bobbles back to David Raya. Raya's outside his penalty area, sees Rice in a bit of space in the right back position because Timber's gone on down that right hand touchline. Rice is running away from Jimenez here. He's running across the Arsenal half, plays it to Eza. Shout a man on from some of the Arsenal fans because Harry Wilson was closing in behind. It's come back to Saliba, who sees Trossard in space on the left. First time volleyed pass, looking for Calafiori, took a deflection and finds him. Back it comes to Trossard. Velvet first touch from the Belgian, then tries to thread a little ball through to Calafiori, which doesn't get there. Fulham intercept, chip ball down the right hand touchline. Rice is there, miscontrols, and it goes out for the Fulham throw. Franny Benali.
Yeah, a lot of possession for Arsenal. They were taking their time. There was a bit of patience, just retaining the ball. No real rush to move forward, but I've got to say there wasn't a huge amount of movement from the players ahead of them. Fulham just quite happy to shut off the gaps and close the spaces, but you've got to say that's a ball that Arsenal are looking to play, that long diagonal pass out to Trossard. Calafiori is making a run inside. It's a dangerous play.
Great movement from Timber, finds Saka moving at speed into the Fulham box, gets it on the left foot and hits that shot, doesn't get it quite right, blocked by Kearney. Wilson back-pedalling, stumbling backwards almost, gets ahead on the ball and it goes out for an Arsenal throw on the left. But that is exactly what Saka did against Wales at Wembley. Dropped the shoulder onto the left foot and whipped it into the top corner. Couldn't quite pull it off at Craven Cottage this evening, but Sessegnon is going to have his hands full over on Fulham's left-hand side. Played just over 20 minutes. Arsenal setting up for a long throw here, which will be taken by Calafiori in front of that towering Riverside stand. 3 or 4 paces he takes. In comes the throw. Flick on from Saliba. Trossard miscues. Josh King sticks a leg out and gets the ball away. Falls to the feet of Zubamendi. Prods it to his right to Timber. Timber's midway inside the Fulham half. Shows a clean pair of heels to Iwobi. Gives it to Eza. Eza lays it off to Saka on the right. Drags his left foot over the ball. Goes for the byline. Sessegnon slides in. Gets a touch on the cross. Loops up in the air. And Leno's able to catch it. That is why Saka is so dangerous though, Franny. Josh King's gone down. That's no foul. Arsenal can keep playing here. And Saka's got it again on the right. So it's Saka against Sessegnon, part 3. Pass this time from Saka to Trossard. Forward into the box. Timber with a little flick. Saka is there again, looking for Trossard. Very tight spaces. And Wilson is eventually able to volley the ball away. Jimenez gives chase. Saliba's underneath it. Jimenez runs into Saliba, falls over. And Saliba just keeps his calm. Passes the ball to Zubamendi. On it goes to Rice. And Rice starts striding forward. Plays it to Calafiori. Wide it goes to Trossard on the left, dummies the ball infield with his right foot and comes back towards Gabriel, who's 10 yards inside this Fulham half. 22 minutes played. That ball is beyond Saka. Leno lets it go and it goes through for the goal kick. But there in a minute, Franny, and you'll appreciate this as a fullback, Saka can go either side, can't he? So he can get onto that left foot and whip it into the top corner. That time he dummies to go left and goes down to the byline. Yeah,
when you come up against those kind of players, it's so difficult at times, and it's going to be a great little match-up that today, isn't it? Sessegnon against Saka. But even when you know sometimes that, you know, he likes to come in on his left foot, you find it hard to almost stop them because you know it's coming almost, but you've got to get tight enough to actually stop the ball. But he's got that option, as you say, to go the other way. So it's really hard to come up against that kind of player.
And you only have to be off balance for a split second, don't you? And then he's got you and he's gone. He sees the gap and he's gone, basically. Here's Calafiori, who's had the ball in the net tonight, ruled out for offside. He's lost the ball here, midway inside the Fulham half. Kearney to King. Cross to Sander Berger. Plays it to the small, slight figure of Josh King, who's really making a mark on this Fulham team this season. Comes wide left to Iwobi. Iwobi is taking on Timber up to the corner of the penalty area. He decides to head for the byline on the left. Timber blocks and it goes behind for a goal kick in the end. The evening kick-off in the Scottish Premiership tonight is Kilmarnock at home against the leaders Hearts. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, 9 minutes gone. It's Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0. Remember, if Hearts win this evening, they'll go 5 points clear at the top of the Premiership, with Celtic not playing Dundee until tomorrow. No major chances yet, but interesting night ahead for Kilmarnock goalkeeper Eddie Beach, his first league start, 22 years old, and that's because he's in for the injured Max Stryek. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0.
25 minutes played at Craven Cottage. 5 live in BBC Sounds. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. A couple of evening kickoffs, 5:30 games in the National League. Sutton United lead Hartlepool 1-0. And Mark Hughes Carlisle United lead Robbie Savage's Forest Green Rovers. The two former Welsh internationals going head-to-head tonight. Carlisle lead Forest Green 1-0. Robbie will be back on 6:06 tomorrow. Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton taking the calls tonight. The lines will be open from half-time in this game, and there is plenty to talk about tonight. And do not miss Match of the Day, BBC One at 10:30, particularly for Palace 3, Bournemouth 3, which sounded like an absolute cracker. And Mateta should have won the game as well. Scored a hat-trick, got it back to 3-3 with the penalty, and then missed the best chance of all to score his 4th goal and win the game for Crystal Palace. Highlights of the Premier League football on the iPlayer from 8 tonight on the BBC. Match of the Day at 10:30. Iwobi, good ball to Wilson. The shot is dragged wide. Raya had it covered, and it goes behind for the goal kick. But again, threat from Fulham.
And it's the movement, I think, from Fulham. Iwobi doing well, coming inside, but it just takes one player to just shift one of the Arsenal players, and it's a good pick out with the pass, but Wilson just scuffing his pass, or shot, should I say. No real power or real accuracy, but I think Raya would have had that covered, certainly, as you mentioned.
Here's Declan Rice, trying to take control of things for Arsenal. Playing in this dark blue change kit this evening. Eza in his bright green boots, close to us on the right-hand touchline. Infield to Saka. Sessegnon's following him everywhere. Saka's not having any of that. Twists and turns, gets away from him, back to Timber. Sessegnon's puffing now, and Arsenal have quickly switched the ball away to the left. Launched high by Rice, chested down by Trossard. Trossard with pace on the pass, misses Calafiori. Here's Wilson from deep inside his own half, looking for Jimenez. Awkward run for Jimenez. Runs into Timber. Has he been given the free kick for that? I think he has.
Yeah, he has, yeah. Look at Timber's reaction.
Yeah.
I think that tells you that he doesn't agree with Anthony Taylor.
Here's the cynic in me, Franny, and you're the former professional footballer. Jimenez sees that as a difficult ball to control, doesn't control it, knows there's going to be contact, goes down, makes a meal of it, and gets the free kick.
Well, you've said it all there, exactly. It was a poor touch from Jimenez, and he's fooled Anthony Taylor into awarding Fulham the free kick. It used to drive me crazy when forwards did that.
Joachim Andersen, forward to young Josh King. Cross here to Tom Kearney. Kearney now in his 11th season as a Fulham footballer, having joined from Blackburn all those years ago. He's seen the ups and downs with Fulham, very much the ups at the moment. Here's Gabriel, under pressure from Wilson, manages to hold him off. Plays it back to Raya, who's all in green. The Arsenal goalkeeper away to our left. Pass forward to Timber. Arsenal have won their last 4 games in all competitions. League Cup away to Port Vale. Champions League at home to Olympiacos. A couple of Premier League games too. Saliba. Eza just in front of him inside the Arsenal half. Eza. Low pass wide right to Timber. Timber speeds infield with the ball at his feet. Kearney's in front of him now. Little chip ball over the top. Saka will chase. Well read by Cuenca, who sticks out a right leg and volleys the ball away for a throw into Arsenal. Attacking position on the right. 28 minutes played in the first half. Kilmarnock and Hearts still goalless in the Scottish Premiership. Here's Saka, is able to turn here and nearly got the ball through to Jurriën Timber. Eza is strong there. Lovely skills as well with the ball at his feet, which is what we know him for, but used the strength as well to hold his man off, and Zubamendi has worked it out to the left to Trossard. Down the line it goes to Calafiori. First time cross, looking for Gyökeres. Cleared away and then lobbed back into the box by Timber, but no real accuracy on the pass, and it ends up in the arms of Bernd Leno.
Yeah, Arsenal, I mean, he's talking about Eza there. Whenever he is on the ball in those tight areas in midfield, he's a fabulous footballer. He's got the vision, the awareness, the skill, just to wriggle away from players even shutting him down and putting him under a lot of pressure. But Fulham have done it pretty well, and it feels on the balance of the game so far, Ali, that although Arsenal have had a huge amount of possession, and take away that goal that was disallowed by VAR for Calafiori, it seems like Fulham have had the a lot more of the chances so far.
Yeah, been good at home so far this season, Fulham, showing it again tonight. Here's Eza, though, got to be careful with him, surrounded by white shirts. Josh King takes the ball off his toes, and immediately King's first thought is positive, didn't look back. He's head downfield 40 yards, chased by Eza amongst others, turns away from Eza, now gets no, it's a shot, not a cross, and Raya has to flick it over his own bar. Saw Raya off his line, that was sheer impudence from Josh King, and trying to curl it in from over on the right wing. Raya saves it comfortably in the end, but I love that from Josh King.
Well, I was just thinking what sort of maturity he showed just holding the ball up for a while, but I'm just thinking if that was an actual effort or a cross in the box, it was only Iwobi that was probably in there. He lifts his head up. I think it might have been more of a cross trying to wrap his foot around it, but it certainly had Raya scrabbling to make sure he had to put the ball over the bar.
Corner for Fulham. Can they get themselves in front? Wilson's delivery, headed away to the edge of the box. Saka is there, flicks it over his shoulder. Volleyed attempt from Sessegnon, bounces through harmlessly and goes behind for the goal kick. Unless King is trying to dummy Raya by giving him the eyes, pretending he's crossing. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit there, Franny. And he's gone for goal. But
he would have claimed it if it had gone in, that's for sure.
Well, he got very unlucky, didn't he, earlier in the season, because he's yet to score his first goal for Fulham, but he scored at Chelsea, and that was the one that got ruled out for Rodrigo Muniz, treading on the toes of one of the Chelsea defenders. Tom Cairney's down. This is a problem for Fulham. So we've got a break in play at the moment. Gives me a chance to remind you of the Premier League scores that have happened so far today. So in the lunchtime kickoff, you're reacting to all of these on 6:06 tonight. The lines will open at half-time. If you don't know the number, here it is: 08085 909 693. Chelsea 3-0 winners at Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou sacked after 8 games in charge. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. Burnley beat Leeds 2-0, so Burnley are out of the bottom 3 this evening. Nottingham Forest have dropped in. Palace 3, Bournemouth 3, an absolute thriller. Erling Haaland scored 2, should have scored more apparently. Manchester City beat Everton 2-0, and Sunderland beat Wolves 2-0. Might be a shoulder issue here for Tom Cairney while he's receiving treatment. Let's check in again at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. Kenny Crawford. 16
minutes gone, still Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0, but the home side really going close a couple of minutes ago. It was David Watson, the teenage midfielder, shot from 20 yards, and the German goalkeeper Alexander Schwallow had to stretch to tip it wide. Kilmarnock giving as good as they're getting at the moment. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 0.
Yes, Kenny said Hearts top going into that game tonight, 2 points ahead of Celtic. Celtic play at Dundee in the lunchtime kickoff tomorrow. Kenny's back on his feet and hopefully will be able to continue. We'll wait and see. We've just had a shot at the Fulham owner as well, Shahid Khan, who's in attendance tonight, and it's Kroenke against Khan in football here. So Stan Kroenke, owner of Arsenal, Shahid Khan, owner of Fulham. Tomorrow at Wembley in the NFL, it's Kroenke's Rams against Khan's Jaguars, if you're a fan of the NFL, Franny.
Oh, and you mentioned about watching a game recently before the match today, didn't you? Some NFL action.
Here's Rice, back underway. Tom Kenny's not yet back on the field. Ball is back with Zubamendi. Zubamendi is in for the injured Ødegaard. That's the only Arsenal change from the 2-0 win over West Ham, and here they come. Timber, 25 yards out, finds Zubamendi, looking for Saka on the right. The pass is behind Eza, it's in front of Saka, and it's actually gone out for a throw-in to Fulham in the left-back position. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0, 13 minutes remaining in the first half, and it's been a pretty even contest so far. So throw-in for Fulham, taken by Sessegnon, loops up high in the air. Timber stoops, heads it towards Saka, into the feet of Gyökeres. Back to Saka, dainty feet inside the penalty area. Rice plays it across to Calafiori. Calafiori finds Trossard. Trossard back here to Zubamendi. Zubamendi gives it to Gabriel, who's encouraged to come forward. Little 1-2 with Declan Rice. Rice back to Zubamendi again. Fulham have every outfield player behind the ball at the moment. Back with Mark Chapman at half-time. Of course, more reaction to the sacking of Ange Postecoglou today after Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. It finished. Still Arsenal possession here. Saka up against Iwobi. Chops to his left, runs across the face of the penalty area. Iwobi, former teammate, sticks with him. Saka's got it back to Gabriel. Forward to Trossard, back to Rice, goal at Rugby Park, Kenny Crawford.
It was an absolutely brilliant goal for the visitors. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. Corner from Harry Milne and a bullet header by Craig Halkett into the bottom right hand corner. The league leaders are in front. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1.
Harry Kane, I see, has scored as well for Bayern Munich against Borussia Dortmund in the evening kickoff in the Bundesliga. Here's Timber looking for Trossard, edge of the box, back to goal, gets it to Zubamendi. Is the Fulham defence going to creak here? Calafiori shoots, big deflection, hit Gyökeres, or no, Fulham defender beside Gyökeres. It's gone behind for the Arsenal corner, and Robbie Savage's Forest Green Rovers have equalised against Carlisle in the National League. That game is 1-1. 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Franny Benali enjoying the action here at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, Arsenal having a huge amount of possession there, just being patient, but they just can't find that final pass, that killer ball into the box to pick out one of their teammates. It's you've got to say, a well-drilled Fulham side that are not looking to run out of good positions. They're just saying, well, come and break us down.
Corner taken short, down the dead ball line to Trossard, gives it straight back to Rice. First time ball, Eza hits a low shot. It's blocked inside the penalty area. Comes back to Zubamendi. Zubamendi's got support from Saliba. Not the best pass from Zubamendi there. Saliba had to go scampering back after that inside his own half. Now Saka is under pressure from Jimenez, who holds on to him like a ballroom dancer. Grabbed him around the hips. Saka stopped playing, waited for the whistle to go. Always risky that, but the whistle did go. He got the decision. And Arsenal take the free kick and get the ball moving quickly. They won't want to drop any points at all, Arsenal. They know they've got a good chance again of winning the Premier League title this season. Manchester City just ahead of them on goal difference, but they've lost a couple of times this season. Liverpool a point behind them at the start of tonight. Liverpool at home to Manchester United tomorrow. Timber to Saka, Saka to Gyökeres hits it, Leno saves. Ball bounces up in the air as Trossard jumps, and Leno grabs the loose ball, having made the save, gets to his feet and runs out and grabs it on the edge of the 6-yard box, then tries to get Fulham away quickly down the right-hand side and slings the ball straight out of play. That was well worked by Arsenal.
Yeah, excellent move, wasn't it? Saka just laying the ball off, receiving the return pass, and then it's a threaded ball forward and a strike at Leno. It's a good save down to his right-hand side. Trossard unable to follow up.
Here come Arsenal again. Saka to Timber. Timber confronted by Iwobi. Slow ball across to Saliba. Every Arsenal outfield player on the attack inside the Fulham half. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Trossard looking for an option. Has the ball on the left for Arsenal. Comes back to the centre circle, Saliba. Cross to Timber. Socks rolled low for the Dutchman. Bobbly pass out to the right to Saka. Bit of space to work with here. Saka speeding towards Sessegnon. Cross in with the right foot is deep and high. Calafiori on the volley. Fizzing shot wide of the target, and behind it goes for the goal kick. Hits the ball well, Ricardo Calafiori, doesn't he?
I was thinking exactly the same thing as your words left your lips, Ali. You know, it was again Saka going down to the byline this time, and Calafiori, it's a interesting angle, but he's a long way out, but he's just watched the ball all the way onto his left foot and just over the bar. But it was great technique, shows he's a great technician and can certainly got an eye for goal.
Those are the thoughts of Franny Benali with us here at Craven Cottage. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Leno's overhit his pass. Sessegnon couldn't keep it in play. He wanted to stop Arsenal taking their throw in quickly, and he did that for just long enough to do that without getting booked. There was a shrill blast on the whistle, because anything that delays the restart of play often gets pinged. Gyökeres couldn't control from the Arsenal throw. Iwobi clears first time. The ball doesn't stick for Fulham, and Raya is able to run forward and collect it for Arsenal. So Hearts 1 up at Kilmarnock in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers 2, Dundee United 2 earlier on today. Saracen Sale in the Rugby Union you can listen to in full on Sports Extra 3 right now, and Sports Extra tomorrow. You've got England's women in action in the Cricket World Cup on air from 10:15 up against India. Here's Saka. Saka's got the beating of Sessegnon again. Away he goes down the right. Jimenez back to help, gets a right foot in, knocks it out, and behind for the corner to Arsenal. Saka is starting to get the better of that battle, isn't he? Yeah,
he's just getting exposed a little bit more. Sessegnon, Iwobi's got other players to try and deal with. He's not getting that support, and it's that one-on-one situation out wide, and Saka's so dangerous, as we know. Talked already about how he can go either way, how quick he is with his feet, but Arsenal just having more and more of possession of the ball as we see at the moment.
Right, let's see what Arsenal can do with one of their set-piece routines. Classic lineup of 4 players beyond the far post. The corner's coming in from the right. Eza lurks on the edge of the box, so does Rice. Zubamendi slightly deeper than them. Saka's ball into the near post. Cleared only as far as Saka. He's got loads of time here to get his head up. Now goes for the far post, nodded down and volleyed away by Cuenca. Rice tries to control it on the volley, under pressure from Iwobi. Another touch from Rice. King tries to make the tackle. Rice gets a crucial touch, and then King's accidentally caught in the face. He's gone down holding his face, and Anthony Taylor's seen that. Will he stop the game? Yes, he will. Arsenal attacking. I think a stray hand or finger from Rice has caught King, and Anthony Taylor was caught there. I think he wanted to let the game play, but if a player's down with a head injury, an injury to the face, he's got to stop the game.
Yeah, it's the rules now, isn't it? But like I say, we'll maybe get an opportunity to see quite how much. I think he's going to be okay, Josh King, but it's one of those things, as you say, it's probably just a flailing arm. It's from his own teammate, who's Jimenez. So you can see why Arsenal are certainly aggrieved. If you're the team that gets pulled up for that, it's very frustrating when you're breaking away. But you can certainly understand why Anthony Taylor's making that decision. We're seeing Gabriel sort of reminiscing with why it should have continued. I think Anthony Taylor was sort of part apologising there. I think King is going to be absolutely fine. They're quite right to check, but it's a left-hander. Now the Mexicans have a great boxing history, don't they? Jimenez, but he's not caught him with a full haymaker. It's a glancing blow, and I'm joking about it, but I'm pretty sure Josh King's going to be okay. Arsenal frustrated. That might be Kearney down again for Fulham receiving treatment. Let's go back to Rugby Park. Delay in play here. Still Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Kilmarnock Hearts being watched by Kenny Crawford. 26 minutes gone. It's Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1, and Hearts since getting that opening goal a few minutes ago really on the front foot at Rugby Park now. They nearly made it 2, and Alexandros Kizaridis, the Greek, put a shot right across goal when Eddie Beach, the young goalkeeper, was beaten, but it drifted wide of the post. Craig Halkett, the goal scorer for Hearts. That's his 5th goal of the season. Not bad for a centre-back. It's Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. Thank you, Kenny. Right, Joachim Andersen is coming off for Fulham, so he's been down receiving treatment. Tom Kearney was also receiving treatment on his shoulder, but Joachim Andersen, now that is a big blow for Fulham. Changes at the back already in this game, and Issa Diop, who was dropped to the bench for this game, is now going to come on and play in this back 4 and partner Jorge Cuenca. So Andersen off, who is one of Fulham's star performers. And Fulham's squad, you know, Franny, I was looking at this before the game, they really didn't do much business in the summer window. This is pretty much the same squad that tackled the Premier League campaign last season. Kevin was the big money signing who's been used off the bench so far and looked really exciting, but to lose someone like Andersen in the first half against Arsenal, that is a blow. Yeah, and it was difficult to see, Ali, wasn't it, what exactly his problem was, but clearly enough for him to come off, and Diop coming in as a like-for-like replacement. But you're right, very little business done in the summer window. It's got one of those things we've heard already, how Marco Silva was missed players through injury and how that can impact a club like Fulham, so he certainly doesn't want any more injuries. Game getting back underway with a drop ball at Eza's feet. Takes one touch and passes it immediately back to Saliba on the halfway line. 3 minutes plus added time, then it'll be the half-time whistle. Mark Chapman will pick up again. More reaction to all the football today. The big news, the sacking of Ange Postecoglou. 39 days, I think, in charge of Nottingham Forest. Les Reed famously had 41 in charge of Charlton, but it's all over for Ange Postecoglou at the City Ground. Some more reaction to that at half-time, and your thoughts welcome on 606 with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton this evening. Timbers side-footed a pass down the right to Saka, attacking that Hammersmith end away to our right. Beats Iwobi, gets the cross in. Good leap from Cuenca at the near post, heads it behind for an Arsenal corner, and Arsenal are so dangerous from the corners. I mean, you want to give Arsenal as few opportunities as possible from the set pieces, don't you? Yeah, and with that change, with Andersen going off now, Diop only just come on. Can they stay focused, stay interested? They've got to go and deal with this threat into the box now, the Fulham defenders. Saliba, Calafiori, Gabriel, Gyökeres, all at the far post. Deeper delivery from Saka. Leno is able to get there first, punches it away with both fists. Eza plays it back to Zubamendi. His ball forward, smashes Harry Wilson in the face at close range. He's down. That's going to be another stoppage in this game.
And that did hit him at pace. Zubimendi was trying to get that ball out quickly to the left-hand side, and Wilson's caught that right in the mush. So he's down, but he's rolled over onto his back, and I hope he's going to be okay. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Tottenham Villa, 2 o'clock tomorrow in full on 5 Live. Liverpool Manchester United at 4:30. And if you want a Wayne Rooney preview, who knows all about that game, the Wayne Rooney Show comes out twice a week, available as a podcast on the BBC Sounds app. So go and have a listen to that. First half then, Franny Benali, what have you made of things here?
Well, I think Marco Silva would be pretty happy, to be honest, Ali. His side are very much in this game. They've probably sort of dropped off a little bit with the intensity that we saw in the first half of this 45 minutes plus added time. They had a few chances, certainly. Oh, just catching a glimpse of Mick Jagger there.
Mick Jagger.
I won't sing. Certainly not singing.
Insert Jagger pun here.
Yes. But, Arsenal have sort of dominated possession for a while without really carving out any real chance apart from that Calafiori sweet strike when the goal was disallowed for offside. So it's very much all to play for in the second half.
Mick Jagger's 82. Did you know that, Franny? Looks good on that.
Well, I've seen them perform in concert at St Mary's Stadium. And to have the energy he does around a huge stage at that age is very, very admirable.
Watching the football tonight at Craven Cottage. Here come Arsenal down the right. Eza takes a touch. Low ball. Fist into the near post. Cuenca's there again. Heads it away. Jorge Cuenca playing at centre-back. 25-year-old Spaniard for Fulham this evening. Bassi and Diop were both dropped to the bench, but Anderson now off injured, so Diop has come on. He's the right-sided centre-back. Victor Gyökeres is stationed in between them. Some late Arsenal attacking in this first half. Just being added time at the end of the first half. I didn't see how many minutes went up. 5 minutes of added time. We've played one of those. 6 minutes of added time. We've played one of those. We've got 5 left. Live maths on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and Fulham have done well. Defended Trossard well, and the ball's gone out for a throw-in to Fulham in the right-back position.
Fulham are very, very happy for the ball to either go out to Saka or out to Trossard, haven't they? Unless they're going to go and beat somebody, it's almost like they've got to beat the wide men. Saka's got to beat sort of somebody like Iwobi first before he gets towards Sessegnon. And it's the same over on the other side. You know, they've got 2 players to beat before maybe delivering a ball or trying to drive to the byline.
Just seen a bit of leapfrog over on the far side of the field. Fulham throw towards Jimenez. Gabriel came over the back of Jimenez and leapfrogged him right over his head to win the header and knock it out of play. Another throw for Fulham has turned into a long ball down the right. Gabriel just leans into Josh King, wins the header. Harry Wilson scampers for the ball, wants to take this quickly for Fulham. 4 minutes of added time remaining at the end of the first half. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Manchester City top of the Premier League table, ahead of Arsenal actually on goals scored. Both of them have a goal difference of plus 11. City and Arsenal both on 16 points. Liverpool on 15. Bournemouth on 15 as well. Got themselves 3-2 ahead late on against Crystal Palace. They were 2-0 up in that game. It finished 3-3. Here comes the long throw into the Arsenal box. Calafiori, towering header away. Kearney nods it forward. Rice wins the next one. Gyökeres speeds towards the ball. Cuenca misses him with the sliding challenge. Good vision from Gyökeres, finds Timber. Timber's up to the edge of the Fulham penalty area. Iwobi's there. Jimenez comes back at pace, makes the tackle, and the ball goes behind for a late Arsenal corner in this first half. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0.
It's the first time we really see Arsenal break like that, Ali, isn't it? And they look dangerous to begin with, and it's a great first touch and then pass from Gyökeres, but Timber just sort of turning back out, taking their time to deliver the ball into the box, but great recovery run from Jimenez.
Cuenca absolutely launched himself at Gyökeres there and was probably quite lucky he didn't catch him. Gyökeres just got to the ball in time. Corner for Arsenal from the right. Saka's going to take it. They've had a few goes at this in the first half. Deeper one to the far post. Leno stretches, gets a right white glove on the ball. Rice there first for Arsenal. Knocks it down the line to Trossard. The cut back to the edge of the box. Wilson heads it away. One touch here from Saliba. Kills it stone dead. Spins a pass out to Saka on the right. Saka this time goes to his left foot. Again, a high swinging, curling cross to the far post. Iwobi flexes the neck muscles, flicks the header away, out for a throw-in to Arsenal. Attacking position on the left. 2 minutes of added time remaining in what's been a fascinating first half. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Here's Declan Rice, 30 yards out. He looks for the curling ball to the far post, and Gabriel thought Saka was making the run. Saka stands there, they both look at each other, throw their arms out, both let it go, and it goes behind for the goal kick.
Probably wasn't the best of deliveries into the box from Declan Rice, was it? It was in between both players, as you mentioned. One thought the other one was going for it and vice versa. You've got to say that's pretty much, I think the Fulham team will get a pretty good reception from their supporters when the whistle blows for half-time.
Bernd Leno in a sort of burnt orange goalkeeping uniform this evening, sweeps the ball away with his right foot. Timber wins the header. Jimenez tumbles backwards over him. Arsenal get the free kick. Jimenez frustrated, just throws his arms up in disappointment. Saliba takes the free kick. Cross to Gabriel, now given to Declan Rice. 1 minute of added time remaining at the end of this first half. Lines will open shortly for 6:06, which follows our commentary at Craven Cottage tonight. Coverage of the sprint race, actually, at the US Grand Prix on Sports Extra right now. Qualifying tonight, coverage starts at 5 to 10. Race in full on 5 Live tomorrow from 7:30. Here's Saliba. Low pass to Rice. Rice running across the halfway line. King can't stick with him, but Rice isn't going anywhere in particular there. Comes back to the left to Zubamendi. Rolls a pass back to Gabriel. Cross it comes to Saliba. Saliba. Low one zipped out to Saka. Saka prods it infield. Finds Eza. Eza. Back to Saliba. Saliba encouraged to bring it forward. White shirts of Fulham backing off. Eza sees Zubamendi in a bit of space. Inside left channel, 35 yards from goal. Onto his right foot. Then finds Rice in a central position. Curling cross looking for Timber. Leaps in the air. Brings it down. Dummies across. Back it comes to Saka. On the left foot. Lays it off. Rice whips it wide. You could see what he was trying to do there. Trying to curl one into the top corner. Last action of the first half. We might get the goal kick. Let's see. No, Anthony Taylor points to the centre spot and says that'll do for the first half, chaps, here at Craven Cottage. Arsenal going close at the end there. They have had the ball in the net. Calafiori with a thumping finish, but he was in an offside position. Fulham have played pretty well, Franny Benali.
Yeah, they've been very solid throughout the first half. They started the first half really bright, closing Arsenal down, pressing a little bit higher up the pitch and pinching the ball, in Arsenal's half. A few sloppy mistakes from Arsenal, but they've got their act together a little bit now. They're dominating the possession. It's one of those games, I think, Ali, where Fulham, it's a lot of concentration they've got to do. It's a lot of communication when the opposition are keeping the ball for so long. Arsenal are just waiting for that one little glitch where one of the players switches off and there creates just 1, 2, 3 yards. That's all it'll be. And they've come close on a number of occasions, but that typified with that shot from Declan Rice. But it's been a decent first half.
Yeah, half-time at Craven Cottage, handing you back to a man who does have the moves like Jagger. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0.
Thank you, Ali. Second half on the way in the National League at half-time. Carlisle 2, Forest Green Rovers 1. Mark Hughes against Robbie Savage at the top of the National League. Sutton lead Hartlepool by 1-0. Half-time in Scottish League 1. Peterhead 2, Queen of the South 0. Slightly later kick-off in the Scottish Premiership. As things stand, Kenny Crawford, Hearts opening up quite a lead at the top of the table.
Yeah, if it finishes this way, it's Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. At the moment, if it finishes this way, there'll be 5 points clear at the top. Hearts under Derek McInnes, the former Kilmarnock manager, at close of play tonight, with Celtic not playing Dundee until tomorrow. Celtic currently 2 points behind Hearts. But yeah, it's Craig Halkett on 19 minutes who gave Hearts the lead. A really good header from Harry Mills' corner, his 5th of the season, so he's not doing too badly for the goal tally. But Marcus Dacker's close to equalising for Kelly. And has he? It's just wide of the post there from Marcus Dackers. So Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1.
Half-time in the Gallagher Prem. Saracens 22, Sale 14. Earlier, Leicester beat Bath by 22 points to 20. In the Rugby Championship, Leinster 7, Munster 21 into the second half. Earlier on, there were wins for Ulster and Lions. Let's go to the sprint race, the United States Grand Prix. Next commentary on Sports Extra right now. Harry Benjamin is watching.
We're on lap 11 of 19 of this sprint race. Dramatic start. Max Verstappen leads, but there was carnage behind. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri both out after a first corner collision. Nico Hülkenberg started from fourth, also involved in that. He tagged Piastri at the first corner, sending the Australian into his teammate. It's an exceptionally warm day here in Kota, and the tensions are high. Verstappen right now, though, looking to bag 8 points. Damon Hill, he's really benefited from this, hasn't he, the Dutchman, because he has managed to close down a 63-point gap to Oscar Piastri coming into this race weekend, already down to 55 with still Sunday's Grand Prix to come.
He's very happy with his car. Not only did he out-qualify the McLarens, but now they've been eliminated from this sprint race. He has closed the gap again. Although it's a long shot, Max is still in this title high.
1996 F1 World Champion Damon Hill alongside me for the whole weekend, calling this one. Lap 11 of 19, Verstappen leads Russell and Carlos Sainz the top three.
Sports Extra, if you want to listen to that. Tea time game in the Bundesliga, by the way. Bayern against Borussia Dortmund, 1-0 to Bayern. Harry Kane with that goal, nodding in a corner. In the Premier League today already, Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. Ange Postecoglou sacked at the end of that game. You will want to react to that on 606. Brighton 2, Newcastle 1. Burnley 2, Leeds 0, Palace 3, Bournemouth 3, Manchester City top of the table ahead of this tea time game at Craven Cottage after a 2-0 win over Everton. Sunderland beat Wolves 2-0, obviously goalless at Craven Cottage between Fulham and Arsenal. Coventry went back to the top of the Championship with a 2-0 win at home to Blackburn. Sheffield United got themselves off the bottom of the table with a 1-0 win over Watford. Cardiff are the new leaders of League One. They beat Reading 2-1. Stevenage were beaten at Lincoln 1-0. Bradford drew 2-2 at home to Barnsley. Walsall stay top of League Two despite a 2-1 home defeat by Barrow. Cheltenham got themselves off the bottom of the table with a 2-0 win at Newport. Plenty of stories for you to react to on 606 08085 909 693. We'll get some reaction to the day's Premier League football as well, and find out the latest on Nottingham Forest's search for another new manager after Dan Maudsley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Next, chappers, the brother of Virginia Giuffre has called on the King to strip Prince Andrew of his Prince title after he announced he was giving up his others, including the Duke of York. Prince Andrew has always denied claims by Ms Giuffre that she was sexually abused by him as a teenager, but in a statement last night he acknowledged that continued accusations against him were distracting from the work of the royal family. The Hamas-run emergency service in Gaza says 11 people from the same family were killed on Friday night when an Israeli tank shell hit their bus. Israel's military said that the vehicle had crossed a demarcation line. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has instructed that the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and Gaza remain closed until further notice. It follows a statement by the Palestinian embassy in Cairo that the crossing would open on Monday for Palestinians in Egypt to return to Gaza. Israel has made the return of all remaining deceased hostages' bodies a condition of reopening the border. I can add that in the last few minutes, Hamas's armed wing has said it will hand over 2 of the remaining bodies this evening. And more than 2,500 demonstrations are taking place across the United States to express opposition to the policies of Donald Trump. Organisers say that millions of people are expected to participate in the No Kings protests. Supporters of President Trump have described them as Hate America rallies.
When you're cozied up on the sofa, when the drama's got you totally hooked, when you're completely engrossed in what's about to happen. Hey, did you eat all these?
Oh, sorry, didn't notice.
Go on, there's more in the kitchen. Nothing brings us together like great TV. And a TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, so you can make the most of those long, dark nights. It also funds everything you love from the BBC, including iPlayer and live radio, like this.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's get more on Nottingham Forest then, sacking Ange Postecoglou after 39 days in charge, 8 games without a win, 21 minutes after the final whistle, Nottingham Forest put out a statement this afternoon that he had gone. BBC Sports' Nick Mashiter was at the City Ground. You kind of sense this was already decided by the hierarchy, don't you, Nick? That if they lost, he was gone.
Yeah, I mean, when you see the owner Evangelos Marinakis leave his seat and not return midway through the second half, we started to get a sense of that something might be coming. And obviously the majority of the media, certainly the written media, are all waiting in the press conference room at the City Ground, waiting for Ange Postecoglou to come in and either justify what happened or speak about his future. And then we get a message from Nottingham Forest to say that he's gone. So it wasn't a surprise. They say 39 days, which is the shortest permanent manager for Nottingham Forest, beating Alex McLeish, who lasted 40 days in charge. So he's managed to beat him by just 1 day. And it just looked the wrong fit. It was perhaps the wrong person at the wrong time. Too big a jump, too big a different styles from Nuno Espirito Santo, who he replaced in early September. And while there was real willing for this to work, both from the club, from the players, it just is an acceptance that it just clearly hasn't worked at all.
Do they know what style they want to play? And the reason I ask that is in the 2 or 3 hours since he's gone, the two names that seem to be linked, and admittedly this may be just the media rather than the Forest hierarchy again, but the two names that appear to be linked are Roberto Mancini and Sean Derry. Not Sean Dyche, crikey. Sean Dyche, that would have been a surprise Sean Derry if he was listening, and Sean Dyche. So, I mean, again, what style do they want?
Well, that's the thing. It looks muddled and it looks directionless at the minute because you've lurched from Nuno Espirito Santo, more pragmatic, more counter-attacking, to Ange Postecoglou, who wants to be on the front foot, high tempo pressing, and that was too much too soon. The players, as much as they wanted to do it, couldn't handle it because there wasn't enough training to in between all the games. He had 23. He had six games in his first 23 games, which isn't enough time to get on the grass, on the training pitch, and be able to implement that. But you look at what they've done. The problem at Forest doesn't necessarily come from Ange Postecoglou. They spent around £180 million in the summer, but today against Chelsea, only two of their signings started, just Alexander Zinchenko and Douglas Luiz, and they are both on loan. There was no James McAtee, no Amari Hutchinson, no Dylan Bakwa, no Kalimowendo. And all these players cost around £120 million. So you have to look at the muddled thinking perhaps in the summer as well when they're bringing in these players of what they were doing and how they wanted to progress the side, how they wanted to put the squad together. When the four of the biggest signings over the summer can't even make the bench today.
Nick, thank you. Nick Mashter from BBC Sport. Erling Haaland got both as Manchester City went to the top of the Premier League with a 2-0 win at home to Everton. Here's his teammate Ruben Dias.
And obviously very happy for him, very happy for us, because him being happy is us being happy. And I mean, we need to keep on pushing him, pushing everyone. Remember the first half, Savinho had a very good opportunity when he controlled with the chest and then crossed. Maybe he needs to be more incisive. And take the chance. I remember as well one from Phil, he opens, then he serves. Tijani was in a very good position. Jeremy the same. I mean, obviously very happy for Erling, but we want as a team for everyone to step up. Corners we have to do better, we have to score the chances, and little by little having different, more and more different options of obviously being able to hurt the other team.
And also top of the table now as well.
Yeah, obviously happy with it, but one game at a time. There's a long season ahead and we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do within ourselves to be better and to reach the full potential that we can reach.
Ruben Dias with Chris Sykes. Oliver Glasner on the way after we get half-time from Kilmarnock. Kenny.
Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1. Craig Halkett's 5th goal of the season, a bullet header, the difference between the sides at the moment. But Derek McInnes's visitors will be kicking themselves that they're not 2-0 in front, because right on the cusp of the half-time whistle, Cammy Devlin, Australian midfielder, was clean through, had a shot straight on goal, but straight at young goalkeeper Eddie Beach of Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 1, half-time.
Crystal Palace came from 2-0 down and 3-2 down to get a 3-0 draw with Bournemouth at Selhurst Park. Jean-Philippe Mateta got a hat-trick, but he did miss a chance to get the winner very late on. Here is Oliver Glasner with John Southall.
What are the emotions after that? 2 down at half-time, 3-3, and then what were you thinking when Jean-Philippe Mateta had that chance in the 99th minute?
Difficult today. The way the game went was so exciting, but we believe in us because we have proven it so often that we can score goals, we create chances, and even if we get our first goal in the 70th minute, we are back in the game. And so the players did so well. Everyone in the stadium, beside the Bournemouth supporters, they saw 8 minutes extra time, and everybody had to believe, hey, this team can come back again. And this, it happened against Liverpool, it happened today. This is our mindset, this is our identity, that we want to go for a win.
What did you say to Jean-Philippe afterwards? I don't think I've ever seen someone score a hat-trick look so disappointed at the end.
Yes, he apologized, and I said, you don't have to apologize, you scored a hat-trick. And I think it just shows the mindset we created, that we always want more and more and more. And what I loved today is in this situation, Aiden Ketia has the ball and he could take the finish there, and maybe he would want to be the hero. But this is not this group, Then he sees Jean-Philippe Mateta and tries to assist him, and that just shows how we are as a group, and this is how we will be at the end of the season.
Let's just hear from Vitor Pereira. Wolves beaten 2-0 at Sunderland to remain bottom of the table, just 2 points. They're 5 from safety.
The first half was poor, in my opinion. Technically poor. A lot of throw-ins, free kicks, corners. I didn't see any game. I think the game was almost the time stop it for a throw-in, stop it for. It's like when I look for the first half, I don't remember a good game. I don't remember good plays, good moments. I don't remember. Second half, we correct our movements, and in my opinion, we play 30 minutes with in high quality, creating 3 or 4 chances to score. Losing the chance, and in Premier League you cannot lose this kind of chance.
Vitor Pereira. All the extended highlights and analysis with Gabby and Alan and Micah. Match the day, 10:30 tonight. Have your say on 606. It follows on 08 085 909 693. Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton this evening. As I say, it follows 45 minutes from Craven Cottage, which I imagine will be football commentary mixed with Rolling Stones song titles. Ali.
I think I'm going to avoid those, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah,
Fulham
you won't be available. You won't be able to. You know you're going to slip the odd 1 or 2 in.
Yeah, possibly. I'll tell you what I was doing, Mark, at half-time, just on the Mateta missed opportunity to get 4 goals. I was looking at the list of players in Premier League history who've scored 4 or more in a game. I know the miss is more important because he didn't win the game, but it's an illustrious list. I'll rattle off a few of the names as the game goes. Thank you, Mark. Enjoy your Saturday evening. Mark is off and away. I think it's Gabby Logan actually presenting Match of the Day tonight, so not Mark Chapman this evening. 10:30 BBC One. Palace Bournemouth 3-3 is one definitely worth watching. But yeah, players who scored 4 or more in a Premier League game. If Mateta had joined that list, you would be up with the very greats. Players who've scored 5: Aguero, Berbatov, Defoe, Shearer, and Andy Cole did it against Ipswich all those years ago in a Manchester United 9-0 win. But we're back underway here. Let's concentrate on this one, because Manchester City's win this afternoon has taken them above Arsenal on goals scored at the top of the Premier League table. As it stands, if Arsenal were to draw this game, they'll go a point ahead of Manchester City. Liverpool at home to Manchester United tomorrow. Arsenal attacking the goal away to our left in this second half at Craven Cottage. They're in change kit this evening. Dark blue, red pinstripe, white numbers. Saka wide on the right, caught by Sessegnon, who stuck out a right leg. Saka darted to his left and Sessegnon just dangled the leg out there, and he's caught him with the studs of his boot. So Arsenal will get a free kick. Arsenal have David Raya in goal, Julian Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, the back 4, Eza, Zubamendi and Rice, Saka, Gyökeres and Trossard as their starting 11 this evening. Fulham have had to make a change in the first half. Issa Diop has come on for the injured Joachim Andersen. I'll give you their full team in a second, but here comes an early Arsenal set piece in the second half. Lots of seats empty in the Riverside stand opposite us as fans make their way back, as Rice takes that free kick. Gabriel's beaten in the air by Cuenca. Ball bounces twice and Zubamendi quickly spirits it back to Raya inside his own half. He launches the long diagonal. Trossard wins a good header there against Castagna. Cuenca comes sliding in, clears it first time. And Zubamendi nearly miscontrols it, but manages to get it at the second attempt and has the ball in the centre circle. Rice takes control for Arsenal, quickly whips it low out to Saka on the right. Back to Saliba. Saliba scoops one forward, looking for the run of Saka. Miscue clearance from Sessegnon, falls to Timber, he passes it beyond Saka, and it goes behind for the goal kick. So Fulham have Bernd Leno in goal, Castagna, Diop, Cuenca and Sessegnon as the back four. Sander Berge, Tom Cairney in front of them. Harry Wilson, Josh King, Alex Iwobi and Raul Jimenez fit to start tonight as centre forward. Rodrigo Muniz is still missing. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Got former Southampton defender Franny Benali alongside me for the commentary tonight. So thoughts from Franny in just a second, as Arteta is furiously waving a right arm to say give the ball to Eze. Arsenal have done that. Here is Eze. Cross comes in. Oh, it's behind Gyökeres. Comes to Trossard. Chests it down, hits it low, drags it well wide, and he's livid with himself. Goal kick for Fulham. Here's Franny.
Yeah, probably not the best of finishes that we'll see from Trossard or his Arsenal teammates today. But they've come out the traps pretty sharp, Arsenal, putting Fulham on the back foot a little bit. But Castagna just positioned himself well, forcing him to shoot wide of the goal.
Fulham have taken their goal kick. Leno inside his own 6-yard box, comes across to Diop. Fulham are all in white with black trim, black numbers on the backs of their shirts. Backheel volley pass nearly came off for Jimenez. Kenny was on the run, but Eze read it for Arsenal. Calafiori passes across to Zubamendi. Arsenal players missing at the moment: Ødegaard, Madueke, Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz. Hincapié is not involved today, but is ready to go, so I wonder whether we'll see him in midweek against Atletico in the Champions League. Saka zooming into the Fulham penalty area, still going Saka. Oh, the ball nearly crosses the line, scooped away by Castagna. It seemed to have got away from Saka. He bumbled his way through a couple of challenges, somehow bobbled it past Leno, and Fulham very grateful to Castagna just getting there just in time.
Yeah, and it was Sessegnon, I think, just getting too tight, enabled Saka to just drop his shoulder and get away, but he drove so well into the box, didn't he? As you say, just got a little bit fortunate. There's a few little nervous bit of defending at the end, but they've managed to clear it.
Sander Berge, it would have been a Sander Berge own goal. It was Saka coming in on the angle, ran through one of the challenges and then just flipped the ball into that danger zone edge of the 6-yard box, and Berge stuck a foot out and it was heading across his own line before Castagna got there. Short corner to Trossard, back to Saka on the right, chops onto his right foot, sliding challenge on him by Castagna. It goes behind for another Arsenal corner. I've got the feeling that Arteta's probably got into Arsenal a little bit at half-time. They've started sharply, haven't they, second half?
Well, we were discussing off air at half-time, Ali, weren't we, that you'd imagine Arteta would want his team to just sharpen things up a little bit, move the ball around the pitch a little bit better, a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker.
Great view of the Arsenal players lurking at the far post here, waiting for this corner to come in from the right. Anthony Taylor is now ready for us to go. Saka decides the ball needs re-spotting, so steps towards it and places it carefully on the edge of the quadrant, then stands with his feet apart. Arsenal fans behind him, jogs on the spot with his left foot. Delivery is short, low into the near post. Castagna stoops and heads the ball away, and you've got all these giants lurking at the back post, and Saka's got the ball nowhere near them.
Poor delivery, isn't it? Yeah. Clearly they're set up to do something that's either delivery's got to come middle of the goal or the far post, and it was nowhere near there.
David Raya under pressure inside his own half. Gabriel has stayed forward in the attack. Headed clear here to Berge for Fulham. Forward to King. He's able to turn. King one-on-one against Saliba, who's backing off. King still runs. Passes to the left-hand side. Here's Iwobi into the Arsenal penalty area. Former Arsenal man looking for an opening. Slides the pass across the face of the box. Harry Wilson onto it. Edge of the area. Slices the shot high and wide of the target. And behind for the goal kick. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Let's check in on the sprint race. It's the US Grand Prix tomorrow. Sprint race tonight in Austin, Texas. Here's Harry Benjamin.
We're still catching our breath. Max Verstappen for Red Bull led the sprint race from pole all the way to the win, with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri both out at the first corner. He closes in for this championship battle. Verstappen takes the win ahead of George Russell and Carlos Sainz. This is just the teaser. We've got Grand Prix qualifying coming up later on today.
Yeah, that's on Sports Extra. Coverage starts at 5 to 10 UK time, and the Grand Prix on 5 Live in full. Our coverage starts at 7:30 tomorrow. Lines are open for 6:06 tonight. That follows Fulham Arsenal. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. 7 minutes gone in the second half. Under the lights at Craven Cottage. Such a distinctive footballing arena. Franny enjoyed his walk through the autumn colours of Bishop's Park to get here for the game this evening. Ezza's on the ball, passes low to his left to Trossard, corner of the Fulham box, looks for Ezza again, 50-50 ball on the edge of the area. Kearney calmly passes it out looking for King. Saliba's there first, swings a right boot at the ball, knocks it back into his own half. Raya comes across to collect it, side foots a measured pass down the left to Rice, and Rice bouncing forward, jaunt in the stride, ball at his feet inside the Fulham half. Arsenal looking for the breakthrough. Zubamendi, Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Trossard turns, edge of the Fulham box. Calafiori in support on the left. High, looping cross to the far post. Saka does brilliantly well to control that. Sessegnon's close by. Saka's cross is blocked, hits Sessegnon, and Anthony Taylor says that's a corner. Assistant referee disagrees. He says that's a goal kick, and Anthony Taylor changes his mind and gives the goal kick. Producer George Franny was looking at the games Arsenal have played so far this season and looking at the equivalent games last season. So Fulham, for example, are a team that, you know, Arsenal only drew against last season. Newcastle, they've beaten this season away from home. Last season, they lost that game. If they win this game tonight, they will be 7 points ahead against those equivalent games from last season. So in terms of dealing with tricky opponents, you know, this is another one for them tonight, but it's not necessarily saying it's a sort of definite mission from Arsenal at the start of the season, but it shows you why they're in good shape.
Of course, we spoke before the game how Arsenal have come out the traps and started extremely well this season, and they'll be looking to certainly take maximum points here tonight, but Fulham have done an outstanding job so far in keeping them at bay, restricting them to pretty much half chances really, and you got to credit them that, and that last effort from Wilson just goes to show how they can still be a threat.
Fulham breaking play up on the edge of their own penalty area. Norwegian Sander Berger floats on forward. Saliba can't clear it. Jimenez under the ball for Fulham. Timber chasing back. Jimenez finds Wilson, edge of the area. Scoop pass looking for Jimenez. Timber flicks a header away, only as far as Iwobi. Back it comes for Wilson. Volleys it over the bar. A flying Welshman at full stretch. Got great contact on the ball. He couldn't keep it down. And look at 18-year-old Josh King, loving the moment, whirling his arms around, getting these Fulham fans behind their team. This game could go either way.
Well, certainly. I just mentioned how Wilson had that effort just as a little reminder, and that was, again, a brilliant passage of play. And as it was teeing up, you thought he's going to volley it into the back of the net, but he was under real pressure from Calafiori, wasn't he?
Arsenal come again. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. Saka has Sessegnon and Iwobi out there to try and look after him. They get it away from Saka. Now Iwobi on the ball for Fulham inside his own half. Passes back here to Sessegnon. Has time to clear up towards the halfway line. Saliba nods it down. Carlisle United 2. Forest Green Rovers 2. So Robbie Savage's Forest Green Rovers have equalised again in the National League. Robbie back on 6:06 tomorrow. Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton taking the calls tonight after this. There's Calafiori finding Zubamendi. Across to Timber. Timber's pass. Gyökeres takes it on the turn, stumbles forward, and Anthony Taylor, looking hard at that, immediately looks at Gyökeres and wags a finger. And you could tell, couldn't you there, Franny, that Cuenca had his hands full and I think almost had to let Gyökeres go. But Gyökeres in the turn sort of loses his balance, doesn't he? Stumbles.
He's stuck a little his left foot just almost goes to make a little bit of contact and tries to just intercept the ball a little bit. And Gyökeres, I don't think there's enough.
No.
There's not enough for a penalty for me. It's good to call from Anthony Taylor.
Yeah. Good attempt from the centre forward to turn his man and nearly got away there. Could have tried to initiate the contact possibly and simulate the foul. He didn't, to his credit, really. He looked at Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor said, no, that's not a penalty. Gyökeres has picked himself up and carried on. Fulham 0, Arsenal 0. 11 minutes gone in the second half. Here's Zubamendi. Zubamendi's low pass out to Saka. Saka up against Iwobi. Saka flicks it infield to Eza. Eza, all shimmies and skills to Zubamendi. Back to Timber. Iwobi's got a hold of his right arm there just to slow him down. Saliba to Zubamendi, prompting pass down the right. Timber thought about an early cross, decided against it. It's got Saka in field, in the inside right channel. Good low ball finds Eza. Eza to Gyökeres, important sliding challenge there on Gyökeres. It's gone behind for a corner, and Cuenca is down. He's having a busy old game tonight, Jorge Cuenca. He's made some really important blocks and interceptions, and Gyökeres, I think, might have just caught him as Cuenca made the challenge.
It was a dangerous looking attack, wasn't it, as soon as Eza got on the ball. It was a short little pass, but Cuenca's done so well. He's stood up, he's won headers when he's needed to. He's been one of those leading lights in the back line there. Just gets caught on that challenge, but he stretched out a leg.
Still 0-0, another Arsenal corner. The corner count is racking up, and it's the same old lineup, although this time Gabriel, marked by two players, is on the penalty spot. Tries to make a run for it, in towards Gabriel, flicked header, Trossard's there, volleys home from 2 yards out. Gabriel, they tried to double mark him, you just can't handle him. He got the flick on the header, and Trossard celebrates his first Premier League goal of the season. Arsenal have the breakthrough, and as it stands, they're going 3 points clear at the top of the table. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1.
Well, we've seen how strong they can be from set pieces, and this time the delivery's spot on. It puts it into an area where it's asked questions of who's got the desire and determination to go and win the ball. And it was certainly Gabriel there, wasn't it? As you say, there was players around him. It's just the slightest of touches, but it goes straight to the feet of Trossard. Well, it's not even his foot, it's his thigh, isn't it? I think he knees it in almost. There's the slightest of touches, and then he just gets his thigh on it, and he's just a yard or two out, and he just helps it across the line. We see Mikel Arteta celebrating with his staff and his substitutes, throwing his arms in the air. Game on.
Tip of the hat again to Nicolas Jova, set piece coach. Much better delivery from Saka that time. Gabriel did well. He ran through the two challenges really just to make sure that ball was his, and leapt beautifully to get the flick on, and he celebrated Franny almost as if he had scored the goal, because he knew how important the role was he had played in the goal.
That's so important to have players in the team like that, Ali, when you know you're not the one that's maybe grabbing the headlines as the goal scorers, but you do something that contributes towards that in a big way.
So Leandro Trossard's goals so far this season have come against Athletic Bilbao, Port Vale and Fulham, which is a heady mix. Rice side foots a ball forward. Leno well outside his penalty area, right back position for him, clears it downfield. Zubamendi nods it forward, falls to Rice. Rice lofts it high in the air. Saka's going to try and get on the end of it. Sessegnon heads it away. Flag goes up for an offside. The referee's going to say wait here. Goes up again now. And Eza's pass into the penalty area was intercepted anyway, so Fulham will get a free kick. So half an hour to play, just a little bit more than that. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. The Arsenal win will put them on 19 points ahead of Liverpool, Manchester United tomorrow, which we have for you as a 5 Live commentary, kicking off at 4:30 at Anfield. We've also got Tottenham against Aston Villa in full at 2 o'clock, and then we're back into the Champions League football next week. Arsenal Atletico is our commentary on Tuesday night. Chelsea against Ajax on Wednesday night. Rice, nice little cushion ball on the half volley. Gyökeres chases this down the left-hand side. Fulham possibly vulnerable now, trailing Arsenal by 1-0. Arsenal looking for a first win here in 3 seasons. Here's the goal scorer Trossard, teases Castagna, flicks the cross in straight into the arms of Leno, who makes a very comfortable catch, and he's going to hoof the ball straight out of play because Kearney's down again. Tom Kearney received treatment a couple of times in the first half. Was he making the symbol there as well? That might be it for him tonight, do you think?
I think the way he's down, he's crouched down, he was pointing at his, it seemed to be like the bottom of his neck in between his shoulder blades when he was getting treatment earlier, Ali, wasn't it? So he's clearly got a problem there. It's something that's going to take him out of the game by the looks of it, and they're going to have to make a change for them.
34 years old, Tom Kearney, as I said in the first half, in his 11th season at the club here. First Premier League start of the season, and you know, you always see it from Footballers desperate to play, hard to get into the team, has his opportunity tonight and then frustrated by injury. Nice story coming now, though. Another former Arsenal man, Emile Smith-Rowe, who's not got the starts for Fulham this season, continually coming off the bench, so has played in every Premier League game, but only as a sub every time. And I can see Mikel Merino is waiting to come on for Arsenal, who has scored 8 goals in his last 8 games for Spain. Got 2 in the 4-0 win against Bulgaria this week. Obviously has played as a makeshift centre-forward for Arsenal, and he will come on for Eberechi Eze. So Eze gets a break, Merino comes on. That adds a bit of sort of grist and strength and toughness to the Arsenal midfield. What do you think, Franny, long term? I know it's early to call it because we're only talking about 8 Premier League games played, but in terms of, we've seen Arsenal finish second. Do you think they're in an even better position this season to go one step further and win that Premier League title for the first time in over 20 years?
They're going to be in the mix for sure, Ali. I mean, with the start that they've made, they're giving themselves the best chance possible. As all of us know, there's such a long way to go and so much twists and turns and that roller coaster of what's going to happen between now and the end of the season. But it's the outstanding start they've had already. It's the strength and depth that they've got within the squad now, the players that they've signed, the experience of coming runners-up in the past 3 seasons, just all adds to the mix to potentially for me this is the season quite possibly.
Right, double change for Fulham. Emile Smith-Rowe comes on for Tom Kearney, and Kevin comes on for Josh King. Now that will change things up a bit. Kevin is the 22-year-old Brazilian, fleet of foot, signed from Shakhtar for £35 million this summer. Only substitute appearances in the Premier League so far this season, but I think Fulham fans have really enjoyed what they've seen so far. And Merino on for Eze. So those are the changes. Back underway. Oh, that's clever from Trossard. Back heel to Saka. Saka edge of the penalty area. Little nutmeg shot. Oh, great save from Leno. Rebound nearly fell to Gyökeres just behind him. Leno might have been unsighted there. Got down well to his left and prevented it from going 2-0 to Arsenal. 18 minutes gone in the second half. Number to dial for 606 tonight. Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton are waiting to take the calls. 08085 909 693. I was talking about those players that have scored 4 or more goals in a Premier League game. Chris Sutton is not one of those. Efan Okoku did it for Norwich at Everton. I think Chris claims, Franny, that he set up all 4. Never the unselfish assister, isn't he, Chris? Declan Rice with the diagonal ball. Arsenal going looking for a second to make things more comfortable here. He's going to take on Kevin. Beats Kevin. Saka's in the mood. Oh, that's a wild challenge. That's a penalty. Crazy challenge from Kevin. Had a wild lash out at Saka. Saka's down flat on the floor edge of the box. VAR will have a look at this. But Anthony Taylor had a clear view. The only question will be here, Franny, is whether it's inside the penalty area or not. I think it was.
It was very tight, and we'll get an opportunity hopefully to see it again. But it's a big challenge to make when he's not really needs to. He gets a slight touch, the slightest of touch with his right boot as his foot's coming back down, almost like the sole of his boot gets that connection with the ball. And I think that's going to be the big call in what VAR will look at and make out that it is a legitimate challenge.
Oh, you're right, he's got the ball. I was absolutely convinced from here. I mean, Anthony Taylor was convinced, wasn't he?
And in real time, I think it does look like a foul, clearly.
He's lucky, though, don't you think? That's a crazy challenge.
It's the slightest of margins.
Studs on the ball. That's the famous Ian Smith commentary line, isn't it, from the England's win in the Cricket World Cup, one of the barest of margins. And you're right, that is the barest of margins.
It's almost the tip of his toe as well, isn't it? The front of his boot. If it was a size 7 like me, I would have missed it and it would have been a pen.
I've got bigger feet than you, Funny. One of the very few people I have bigger feet. They're having a long look at this. VAR today, Stuart Atwell. I mean, he's going to get lucky here, because that's not a clever challenge, is it, Franny? You shouldn't be doing that.
It's a risky one, certainly, isn't it? I get the enthusiasm and the determination to go and win a challenge and a tackle and put a player under pressure, but you're asking the referee with a challenge like that to make a decision.
Right, Anthony Taylor's being sent to the screen, so he's given it as a penalty on the field. Stuart Atwell now thinks it possibly isn't. He's had 9-10 looks at the slow motion here. The screen is now being erected in front of Anthony Taylor at the bottom of the Riverside stand. How many looks is he going to need at this? And there's a little kid in a Fulham shirt who's sort of shrugging his shoulders and saying to Anthony Taylor, "Whoa, what do you reckon?"
What is it going to be? We've seen it. First time we've seen it. I think there's connection. I don't see how it takes this long, to be honest, to make a decision.
No. Well, I mean, Anthony Taylor's the on-field referee. I think it's right that he does have a look, doesn't he, rather than the decision being made at Solly Park. But at the moment, he's looking at a paused picture. I think he needs to see a little bit more than that. I mean, that is the paused picture.
It's the other angle. It's the reverse angle looking back where he gets the touch.
Yeah.
And they've got to show him that.
Yeah. Still looking.
Is the difference.
Four different pictures now Anthony Taylor has. A split screen from different angles of the Kevin challenge on Bukayo Saka.
Well, none of those are going to show anything.
No.
Ali, to be honest, they need to show the slow motion replay.
Still waiting. Can see a steward over there is just trying to calm some of the Fulham fans down.
This
Anthony
is the one.
Taylor, there we go. Now he's finally seeing what we've seen
this is
3
the
or
one.
4 times. There's the touch on the ball.
The slightest of touches as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's a touch, and that's what, for me, makes all the difference.
Yeah. Rocking and rolling. Back we go, forward we go. Seeing it again and again. This little kid is having time of his life. He's going to star on Match of the Day tonight. Mikel Arteta is now in the fourth official's ear, complaining about how long this is taking. I think contact on ball before Saka's shin. Bernd Leno shakes his head. Right, Anthony Taylor takes his time. He's moved away from the screen, and at the moment he's not signalled what he's going to do just yet.
Fulham 22 makes a challenge and plays the ball.
There's the voice of Anthony Taylor. Plays the ball. Kevin played the ball. No penalty. So it fooled us, it fooled Anthony Taylor. They've had a long look at that. It's taken an awfully long time. Is that the right decision in the end, Freddie? That's the key thing.
100%. It's the right decision. But why does it take so long? It only takes 1 or 2 glimpses at the footage to know that he's got the slightest of touches, regardless of seeing Saka thinks otherwise. But
yeah.
And many of the Arsenal supporters, and Mikel Arteta does too, I'm sure. But it's a risky challenge.
Yeah.
It's very questionable, but it is a touch on the ball, so it's no penalty.
Could it change the game? Kevin on the ball now for Fulham. Just over 20 minutes to play, plus a fair bit of added time. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Iwobi brings the ball down inside the penalty area, plays it back to Castagna, cross comes in, diving header away from Gabriel. Sessegnon chests it down, goes back into his own half. Goal in the game between Kilmarnock and Hearts. Kenny Crawford.
57 minutes gone. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 2. Kilmarnock gave it away 30 yards out. Kizaritis had a shot. Eddie Beach saved that one, but the rebound fell to Claudio Braga, the Portuguese, and he put it in from 10 yards for his 7th of the season. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 2.
Iwobi charging forward for Fulham. Here's Harry Wilson on the right-hand side. Moves infield. Calafiori sticks with him. Gives it to Iwobi. Back to the Welshman Wilson again. Side-footed pass across to the giant figure of Sander Berger. Smith Rowe, former gunner, on the ball for Fulham. Wide to Sessegnon. Back to Smith Rowe with the light blonde hair swept across his forehead into the feet of Iwobi. Clever little ball into the box. Sessegnon can't take it on the turn. Build-up was great from Fulham there. It's gone behind for the goal kick. It remains Carlisle United 2, Forest Green Rovers 2 in the National League. The reason I'm focusing on that one, that is 2 former Welsh internationals going head-to-head in Mark Hughes and Robbie Savage. And it's Sutton United 2, Hartlepool United 2. Chris Sutton, the link there, hosting 606 tonight with Aaron Paul. Lines are open. Number to dial 08085 909 693, and it's very much still game on at Craven Cottage. Trossard's low cross in, edge of the box, complete miscue from Marino, falls to Gyökeres. Gyökeres outside of his right foot finds Trossard, makes the outside run, cross into the far post. Leno stretches and grabs the ball with both hands, runs out to the edge of the penalty area. It's funny how incidents like that, you know, silly challenge by Kevin, looked a penalty all day long, wasn't, can turn a game, Franny.
Well, look how it's changed the reaction from the supporters, Ali. You know, the decision going their way, which is the correct decision as we see it. It's just giving them a little lift, and the players on the pitch are responding to that.
just gone 7 o'clock this Saturday night. Premier League highlights available on the iPlayer from 8 o'clock. Match of the day tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Here's Smith Rowe playing the ball back to Berger. Forward it goes to Iwobi. Fulham moving at pace. White shirt streaming forward. Declan Rice sticks the left arm out. Wants cover behind him. Castagna's there wide on the right. Gets the pass back to Iwobi. Little cross into the near post. Rice got to be careful. Bounces in front of him. Watches it all the way into his chest. Grabs it with both hands and then very gently rolls the ball out underarm to Zubimendi. First time layoff from Rice is back to Trossard. Trossard's whose goal separates the two teams, and Castagna backs off his fellow Belgian here, so Trossard brings it up to the corner of the box. Then he's got Wilson and Iwobi in front of him. This time he plays the pass to Rice, stands on the ball for a second, and then caresses a low pass to Saliba. Out wide it goes to Timber, back to Saliba, across to Rice, and Arsenal start to move Fulham around. And Fulham have still got to chase it if they want something from the game. Trossard does well to keep that ball in play. Eventually it's knocked out by Iwobi, throw into Arsenal on the left, who will want that second goal, that cushion, just to make sure of this game, make sure of the 3 points, get themselves 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. At a ground where the last couple of seasons, as I said in the first half, they've not won, and Fulham have been awkward for them. Gabriel, left-footed ball, across his own half to Saliba. Zubimendi involved, back to Saliba again. Saliba looking right and left. Another goal at Kilmarnock. Kenny Crawford.
61 minutes gone. Another Hearts goal. Another Claudio Braga goal. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 3. Great work by Kizarides to set him up. Over to Braga. He rounded the goalkeeper beach and thumped it in front of 3,900 visiting Hearts fans. Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 3.
So a Hearts win would take them to 22 points. Celtic on 17. Celtic at Dundee tomorrow in the lunchtime kick-off. Long ball downfield. Saka can't quite control it. Kevin's lost it. Timber infield to Saka. Didn't find his man with the pass. Berger onto the ball for Fulham. Iwobi's running ahead of him. The ball hit his heels. It's fallen to Smith Rowe. Iwobi's in space again on the right. Fulham fans are encouraged. Just over 15 minutes to play. Castagna makes the overlapping run. Iwobi takes it infield. Runs out of options. Plays back to Diop. Cross it goes to Cuenca, back to Diop, forward to Iwobi. Castagna in space again on the right. Calafiori shuts that down. Back it comes to Iwobi again. Iwobi with his left foot strikes a delicious pass across field to Cuenca. Wide it comes here to Sessegnon. Sessegnon driving run forward. The ball ends up at the feet of Wilson. Trossard makes the challenge. Anthony Taylor wanted to play the advantage. Fulham get the free kick and they take it quickly, and Iwobi sees space on the left. Good ball. Here's Kevin. What can he do with the ball at his feet? Running at Timber, onto his right foot. Cross comes in. Gabriel does really well with the header to prevent Jimenez getting there. Diop leans into a challenge over the back of Gyökeres, and that is considered a foul. Arsenal get the free kick. Franny Benali.
Yeah, the game's certainly livened up now, Ali, isn't it? Supporters have realised what's at stake for the remaining minutes, but both sides really taking the game and sort of upping the tempo, the pace, and Fulham are really still pushing. That was a little bit of a question. Just seeing a replay of Gabriel's header that he won. He's got his left arm around Jimenez's neck. Is there enough for a penalty? I don't think so, but it was a good header. But it shows Fulham are still a threat. Arsenal certainly would like the comfort of a second goal to make this an easier 3 points.
Talking about explaining VAR decisions, I mean, it was explained by Anthony Taylor over the loudspeaker inside the stadium here, but we have a written explanation on the big screen at either end at Craven Cottage, basically making the point that Kevin played the ball, which is why Arsenal didn't get their penalty. We're waiting for the game to restart. David Raya is going to do that with a free kick to Arsenal, 7 or 8 yards outside his own penalty area. Number to dial for 606 is 08085 909 693. The lines are open. Ange Postecoglou sacked by Nottingham Forest today. Roberto Mancini's another name I've seen mentioned in a BBC Sport article on the BBC Sport website this evening. Sean Dyche's name is there. Marco Silva's name, Fulham boss, has been thrown in as well. Nottingham Forest have Porto at home on Thursday in the Europa League, and then away to Bournemouth as well. So fixtures don't get any easier. Arsenal leading here 1-0. Fulham have won a throw. Raul Jimenez runs behind Mikel Arteta to get to the ball. Wilson is onto this on the right. Calafiori's followed him out there. Wilson with the long dark hair tied back has given it away. That's a foul on Gyökeres. Arsenal get a free kick inside their own half. and Fulham just lost their composure at the crucial moment there.
Yeah, I was just thinking how well Harry Wilson's been doing and having a real decent game. He's been full of energy for sure, but just a little stray pass there, a little sloppiness, maybe fatigue's just starting to kick in a little bit now at this stage of the game.
By the way, one other sport I haven't mentioned today, if you're a fan of sumo, the Grand Sumo Tournament taking place at the Royal Albert Hall, you can watch on the iPlayer, BBC Sport website and app, at 7:30 tonight. There was an item on the national news last night. It showed them all, the wrestlers arriving at Heathrow Airport.
I think I did see a couple of images.
Enormous, as you'd expect. Oh, good challenge by Kevin here on Saliba. Kevin still on the floor, gets to his feet, fouled by Zubamendi. Fulham fans love that. Free kick for Fulham. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. In the 78th minute of the game, and Mikel Arteta knows how good his defence is, just how many clean sheets they have kept so far this season, but at 1-0, still dangerous.
It's always in question, isn't it? You know, and it's such a tight game, but you know, they've got the belief, they've got the confidence of keeping games tight, keeping clean sheets, but Fulham also, you saw the spring in the defenders' boots to get up into the 18-yard box. Diop especially, they'll be looking to get on the end of this delivery.
Fulham set piece, free kick from deep. Harry Wilson into the far post. Ball drops inside the box. Diop is there, lays it back to Smith Rowe. Back to Iwobi. 30 yards out. Trossard comes to challenge him. Iwobi beats him, gives it to Smith Rowe. Raya thought about coming for the cross, doesn't do so. Saliba wins the header for Arsenal. Saka leaps, just knocks a little header down to himself and his bright green boots, clears the ball down the right to Gyökeres, who wants a physical battle here with Sessegnon, backs into him. Sessegnon gets the ball, clears it away, Saliba volleys it forward, and Iwobi has come all the way back to cover the Arsenal counter, gets on the ball inside his own half, runs it up to the halfway line, plays it to Castagna, back to Iwobi, and Iwobi goes across to the left to Cuenca. 12 minutes plus added time remaining.
Just shows you, Ali, doesn't it? You know, Fulham have been very much in this game through the entire match so far, and it's just been that one set piece, doesn't it? Just the importance that everyone makes about the difference that can make in these kind of games.
15 Premier League goals for Arsenal so far this season, 5 of them from open play, 10 from either corners, throw-ins or penalties. I think it's 7 corners they've now scored, and that makes your point.
Exactly, and it just shows how important it is. We see teams now even refusing to take quick throw-ins when it's almost like level with the 18-yard box. They just put it into the box.
Saka, looking for the ball through to Gyökeres, couldn't find him. Fulham trying to turn it into a counter of their own. Going end-to-end now. Jimenez, long ball, looking for Wilson, trying to run off the back of Gabriel. Gabriel climbs, flicks a header to his left. Raya plays it out to Calafiori. The more Fulham come at Arsenal, the more open it will leave them to Arsenal sealing this game with a second goal, but they are offering an attacking threat themselves on their home patch, and the Fulham fans will not let them go down quietly. Here's Gabriel, cross to Rice. Franny said it right at the start of the game. 1-0 to the Arsenal potentially. Gyökeres backing into Cuenca. Still Gyökeres. Oh, he's smashed it over the bar. Did so well to fight for that ball and make the chance for himself, and then the moment came 7 yards out, and he's launched it into that Putney end away to our left-hand side.
Well, he won't want to see this again, will he? He gets a little bit fortunate. He muscles his defender out, but he just blasts it high, doesn't he? Maybe just snatches at it a little bit.
Got him in the fantasy team, Franny. I've gone for him instead of Saka.
Well, there you go. That's why it happened.
Come on, Victor. I need you. Bayern 2, Borussia Dortmund 0. Michael Elise has scored the second. Kane and Elise with the 2 goals for Bayern Munich this evening. Gabriel Martinelli on the field for Arsenal. Well, I was just looking at the latest from the Bundesliga, and he has come on for Trossard, the goal scorer. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1 into the last 10 minutes. Gabriel heads it forward. High ball drops just inside the Fulham half. Saka clips it forward with his left boot. Cuenca is there, thumps it up in the air. Awkward one for Saliba, under pressure from Kevin, trying to get the ball on the floor. Jimenez moves in to make a tackle, comes off the Mexican, goes out for a throw into Arsenal. Adama Traore is getting stripped off and ready to come on. And Calvin Bassey is coming on as well. So Bassey on for Cuenca. Cuenca's put himself about this evening, hasn't he, Franny?
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. He's looked very solid, hasn't he? He's a big physical presence back there. He's won some important headers, some important challenges. He's just getting that little fresh legs, and seeing Wilson going off another one that's put a huge shift in today.
Yeah, if you're a tiring Arsenal defender and you see this fella, Adama Traore, bouncing onto the field, you're thinking, how long have we got to go here? 9 minutes plus added time. Calafiori, I think, will relish this challenge for Arsenal. Defensively the best in the business, leading 1-0, set-piece goal, Saka's corner, flicked on by Gabriel, finished by Trossard at close range. Martinelli's made some important contributions from the bench this season already for Arsenal. He's playing wide left, Saka stays on the field wide right. Rice finds him with the high diagonal pass. Ball is played back to the halfway line to Saliba. Saliba to Saka. Saka comes zooming infield, finds Marino, has got Iwobi breathing down his neck. Back it comes to Zubamendi, across to Rice. Rice lays it off to Martinelli, keeps going with his run to the edge of the box. Martinelli plays it back to Calafiori, across to Zubamendi. Timber's making a good run in space in the box, chests it down, ball bounces in front of him, delays the cut back here, still waiting. Scoop ball, overhead kick from Martinelli. Arsenal appeal for a handball, hoisted up in the air there by Bassey over his own bar. Referee's just going to say wait. Just going to say wait so that VAR can have a look at what happened there. Fulham are waiting to take a goal kick, and we're going to see, Franny, whether Martinelli's overhead kick has been illegally blocked. Bassey's left arm down by his side.
I don't think so. I think it's got hit his thigh. It was close. Yeah. I don't think it has struck his arm.
Good call. Spot on. Franny Benali, former Southampton defender, with us here at Craven Cottage tonight. Says no penalty. VAR, Anthony Taylor agree, I think. No, we're not back underway just yet. Let's wait and see. Oh, we are still checking. Okay. Now is that Diop on Gyökeres we're looking at?
Yeah, they're having a look at that as well, I think.
No, and they've waved that away too. So, game is back underway. Yeah, it was just a little wrestling match going on there, wasn't there?
Yep.
84th minute of the game. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 6:06 follows. Martinelli speeding away down the left, up against Castagna and Iwobi. Martinelli slips over as he tries to pass the ball between the pair of them. Here's Iwobi, cross to Berger. Berger runs it past Marino inside his own half. Can Fulham summon something late on to peg Arsenal back and deny them again at Craven Cottage? Beat them here 2 seasons ago under Marco Silva, who has actually beaten Arsenal in charge of 4 different clubs. Done it with Olympiacos, Watford, Everton and Fulham. Tonight though his Fulham team are behind. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal come looking for the second. Here's Timber on the right, pass in towards Gyökeres. It wouldn't stick. He tried to hold that up on the edge of the box. Sessegnon has it. Gyökeres goes chasing, puts Bassey under pressure. Clearance is deflected off Gyökeres' boot, chested down there by Zubamendi. Kevin has it for Fulham, scoops a risky ball back towards his own penalty area. Gyökeres nearly got that. Fulham clear to the halfway line. Arsenal work it into the feet of Gabriel, just inside his own half, looking for runners coming towards him, and Arsenal still look so strong. Rice to the left to Calafiori. Last 5 minutes of the game plus added time. Good step over there to leave the ball for Marino. Martinelli and Marino on the same wavelength. Saka is screaming for the ball in space on the right, and he's not going to get it. Zubamendi to Rice. Fulham are now back in their defensive shape, so that ball to Saka's not on, but Saliba's going to go looking for him. Saka can't control it, and he is fuming, Franny, because the ball should have come a lot earlier, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. You know, the midfielders just turned out and came back the other way again, but it wasn't a great ball to Saka, was it? It was a difficult one for him to control at the end there, but Fulham, you've got to give them some credit. They've certainly worked their socks off in this game to make it a game against Arsenal, and it's been extremely difficult given their resources.
Dortmund have a goal back against Bayern Munich. Bayern 2, Dortmund 1. Julian Brandt has scored that. Here's Kevin taking on Timber, who got the last touch there. Anthony Taylor says corner to Fulham. Saka was back helping the defending. Saka and Timber against Kevin. Something a bit special about Kevin, actually. And Fulham fans have immediately taken him to their hearts. Come on, Fulham, is the chant you can hear ringing round Craven Cottage. 87th minute now. Arsenal still leading. Corner for Fulham. In it comes. Whip on that. Calafiori leaps high and heads the ball away. Arsenal defensive resolve is being tested once more. We've got commentary on Arsenal's game in the Champions League on Tuesday night. They're at home to Atletico. We've got Chelsea Ajax commentary for you on 5 Live on Wednesday night as this long throw comes into the Arsenal penalty area. Gabriel has headed that as high as a goal kick. Saka's down edge of his own box. Sessegnon ran into him. There was a collision. Saka's down hurt. Arsenal get the free kick. Mark Hughes Carlisle lead Robbie Savage's Forest Green 3-2 and Hartlepool 3-2 up away to Sutton. A couple of 5-goal thrillers in the evening kickoffs in the National League. And just a reminder, tomorrow 2 commentaries on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. BBC Sounds is what you need on your device if you're on the move and you want to listen to us, and not just us, but you've got all the BBC radio stations on there, including our extra sports stream, Sports Extra 2 and 3. Tottenham Villa at 2 tomorrow, and Liverpool Manchester United, which still has such a resonance to it as a football fixture in this country. The 2 teams who both won 20 top flight titles each go head to head at Anfield tomorrow at 4:30. John Murray and Stephen Warnock with the commentary. Arsenal trying to close this out. Saka's on the ball, seems determined to do it himself. His pass through his block. Zubimendi, clever pass, hooks it over his shoulder, finds Gyökeres in the right wing position. Back to Zubimendi, back heel from Saka, looking for Zubimendi. Sliding challenge from Bassi, corner for Arsenal. And it would be just like Arsenal, Franny, to seal this with a second goal from a set piece.
Well, it took a corner from exactly the same spot before to get the goal that's winning the game so far. I'm just seeing whether this was actually a goal kick or not.
Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
Goal kick, that's come off Zubimendi's foot.
Bassi's appealed for it, but the officials have got it wrong. We'll see if it costs Fulham even more.
Yeah, Fulham have had some tough calls go against them this season. That game they lost at Stamford Bridge in particular. They're 1-0 down here. This should not have been a corner. Slight touch from Zubimendi's foot. Anyway, let's see what Arsenal can do with it. Arsenal players in the dark blue shirts start to make their run. Saka's delivery looks dangerous. Flicked onto the far post. Gabriel's going to let it bounce. Try and get his body in the way. Jimenez is there. Knocks it past Martinelli. Saliba's got it covered. He's happy to hoof it into the stands. Goes out for a throw. Oh, Jimenez wanted to take it quickly. He's 5 yards further forward from where he should have been. Throws it back here to Diop. He's immediately under pressure from Gyökeres. 89th minute of the game. Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. 6:06 is on the way. If you want to have a chat with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton tonight, 08085 909 693 is the number to dial. Bassi, little pass to Berger. Back to the goalkeeper, Leno. Leno, slightly loose touch in his own 6-yard box. Arsenal players closing in on the press here. Fulham have done well. Berger's pass to the right. Finds Iwobi. Declan Rice, the effort he's putting in to try and get back to cover this run from Iwobi. Just gets his body in front of him to slow it down. Traore, first touch of the evening. Takes on Calafiori, still going, heading for the byline, wins Fulham the corner.
They're asking questions at the right time, Ali. They've certainly been in this game, albeit falling behind to that goal from the set piece from Arsenal. But they're going to give themselves an opportunity to try and get back on level terms. You can see why they've been difficult to play against here at Craven Cottage this season.
Fulham fans on their feet at the Hammersmith end away to our right. Kevin takes the corner, high, away swinger to the far post, volleyed effort, takes a deflection. Can Arsenal now attack on the counter? Marino lofts it up in the air. Martinelli jumped powerfully to win that ball on the halfway line. And we have got 9 minutes of added time. Fulham have got the ball back to Leno, quickly works it forward now to Kevin, who takes it on the turn in the inside right channel. 9 minutes, and a load of that was deciding whether it was a penalty or not for Arsenal. Of course,
a huge amount of that was. We've had a couple of injuries, few stoppages, but VAR certainly taken up a big chunk of that 9 minutes.
Still 1-0 Arsenal. Win tonight, they're 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Traore has it on the right. Declan Rice is in his way. Little step over. Traore's got into the penalty area now. Rice has got to be careful. Follows him down to the byline. Flicks the right foot out. Traore gets it back to Castagna. Cross comes in. Arsenal deal with that for now. It bounces in front of Bassi. 40 yards out. Nods it towards Berger. Berger side foots a pass here. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. Sessegnon controls. Plays it back to Bassi. He doesn't see an option for Fulham. Under pressure here from Saka, turns away from him, low pass down the left, Smith Rowe's involved, looking for a 1-2, Fulham keep it alive for now, Bassi across to Berger, and Arsenal's defenders having to cover the yards. Berger, low sweeping pass, finds Traore, they're looking for him every time, beats Calafiori, running across the edge of the box, trying to set himself up for the shot, little step over, turns, goes to the right hand side, here's Iwobi, still inside that Arsenal area. Couple of step overs, Martinelli's in front of him, down to the byline, he goes and then knocks it too far and can't get the cross in on the slide. That's why Arsenal keep so many clean sheets, they're so difficult to get past.
They're hard to break down, aren't they? You know, it's good defending from the Arsenal players, but Fulham, you've got to give them credit as well. They've certainly not sort of just sat back and tried to just keep Arsenal at bay. They've really asked some questions, they've stepped up the game once they've had to. And you've got to say that, you know, with the remaining minutes, there's still enough time to get a goal back.
7 minutes of added time remaining, then we'll wrap everything up for you, then we're going to hand it over to Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton, who'll definitely want to talk tonight to Nottingham Forest fans about the sacking of Ange Postecoglou just over 20 minutes after the 3-0 home defeat against Chelsea in the lunchtime kickoff. 39 days in charge, 8 games, no wins. What do you think, Forest fans? And who would you like to see next through the door? Number to dial 08085 909 693. Arsenal at the moment leading Fulham 1-0 at Craven Cottage. Sessegnon on the ball inside his own half, chips it forward. Zubamendi challenges Kevin. Zubamendi's knocked it out of play for a Fulham throw. 3 minutes of the 9 minutes of added time have ticked away, so Fulham have got 6 minutes here to try and find themselves an equaliser. If they don't and lose the game, that will be 3 defeats in a row for them. Next up, Newcastle away next Saturday at 3 o'clock, and then they go to Wickham in the League Cup, playing for a place in the quarter-finals. Here's Gabriel back to Raya. Arsenal trying to hold on to the ball to see this out, but Raya actually is going to go long downfield. Gyökeres will chase, Bassi will head it away, only as far as Martinelli, who's in the middle portion of the pitch here inside the Fulham half. Sees Saka in space on the right. Gyökeres is trotting into position in the middle. Saka slides a little pass into the feet of Gyökeres, turns, shoots, Leno palms it away, Martinelli shoots, and Leno on the floor makes another save, knocks it behind. Corner for Arsenal. Franny Benali.
Well, dangerous attack from Arsenal, looking bright, and Gyökeres doing well. His little link-up play is back to play. He's done very well, he gets his shots away, but not for the first time today. Leno has made some important saves for Fulham.
Right, another Arsenal corner. Looking for a second goal that will win the game, kill Fulham off and make it safe tonight. 4 minutes of added time played, 5 minutes still to go. Same old routine. Saka with his left foot from the right-hand side, a whole clutch of dark blue shirts in that 6-yard box. Here comes Saka, left-footed delivery, edge of the 6-yard box. Gabriel gets the flick on, only as far as Jimenez. Takes one touch on the laces of his right boot, slices the clearance away. Raya's miles out of his penalty area, slices that up in the air. Awkward one for him. Kevin was putting him under pressure. Raul Jimenez wouldn't get a job in the England cricket team. Well, obviously not, because he's Mexican. Wouldn't get a job in the Mexican cricket team because he's dropped that and long off. Spilled it twice and it delayed Fulham restarting the game as quickly as they wanted to. By the way, Monday Night Club on Monday night with Mark Chapman is followed by 5 Live Cricket Hour, in which Michael Vaughan, Glenn McGrath and Phil Tufnell are picking their best Ashes 11. Ashes not too far away now. Here's Jimenez. Jimenez turns inside the Arsenal half. Back to Iwobi. Iwobi looking for Traore. Flicked behind his legs, had so much power on it, whizzed past Castagna and went out for the throw into Arsenal, who are quite happy now to slow everything down. And we've got another change coming for Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres. How do you think he's done tonight, Freddie? So that's now 9 games for club and country without a goal. What do you make of his performance tonight?
He plays a key role. I get what Mikel Arteta does say about him. You know, yes, they want goals from him, and he'll be disappointed that he hasn't scored today. And there was that one in the second half here where he ballooned the chance high over the bar, probably his best chance. But you know, he works so hard up front for them, doesn't he? He's a good little link play if the ball comes into his body. He'll be disappointed not to score, but I'm sure the goals will come.
Going to be playing a lot of minutes too. Havertz still out, Jesus still out. Obviously Mikel Merino can do the job. Here's Bassi playing the ball back to his goalkeeper. 3 minutes, just a little bit more remaining. 6:06 on the way, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Arsenal leading 1-0 at Craven Cottage. Bassi's long ball aimed towards Traore. Gabriel wins the header, and he's taken a knock into the small of his back, but he continues play. Traore turns away from Calafiori. Had a hold of his shirt there, I thought. No, Anthony Taylor says no free kick. Rice, powerful run inside his own half, runs into trouble, gives the ball away. Berger to Traore. Rice tries to win it back. Arsenal do have it back, and then Calafiori goes down so easily there. Traore topples over him. Play continues. Fulham have it. Smith Rowe's now down. Jimenez running into the Arsenal penalty area. Angle's got almost impossible. Oh, Gabriel's knocked him over the dead ball line there. And Jimenez flat on his back, and eventually it's cleared away by Christian Norgard, who's come on for Victor Gyökeres. And we have played almost 7 minutes of the 9 minutes of added time. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, that challenge from Gabriel on Jimenez could have quite easily injured him. He saw him holding his shoulder or moving his shoulder from the fall that he took. It was just one of those contacts where he leant into him as he played the ball.
Yeah, he's off balance, trying to get that cross in from the dead ball line. And Gabriel's just sort of leaned into him, just pushed him, and he slammed his shoulder into the advertising hoardings behind the goal. Last 2 minutes of the game. A lot of Fulham fans in the Johnny Haynes stand. Don't think it's going to happen for Fulham. They're heading for the exits. Ball is down inside the Fulham half. Carlisle 4, Forest Green 2. So Mark Hughes getting the better of Robbie Savage in the National League tonight. Sutton have equalised against Hartlepool. A couple of cracking games. Sutton 3, Hartlepool 3. Both games kicked off at 5:30 like this one. Gabriel's ball over the top. Martinelli tried to control it on the right instep. Difficult one to do. Flies off his boot and goes out for a throw into Fulham in the right back position. Minute and 10 seconds remaining. And Arsenal will not care how the 3 points come. At the moment they're coming from the Trossard close range finish. Saka to Marino. Can they find a second right at the end? Here's Saka again. Edge of the Fulham box. Back to goal. Drawing defenders in. Does so well. Gives it to Zubimendi. Cut back into the penalty area, and it goes out for an Arsenal corner. So Franny's just put the current Premier League table in front of me. If Arsenal win this game, 19 points from 8 games. Manchester City on 16 from 8, and Liverpool on 15 from 7. Play Manchester United tomorrow at 4:30. Full commentary on 5 Live. And Bournemouth 3-3 at Palace today. 15 from 8 games. What an incredible season they're having. Tottenham on 14 actually, and they're at home to Villa tomorrow. Arsenal are going to kill time now. They've taken the corner short. Saka's going to try and hold on to the ball by the corner flag. It's a right old stramash down there. White shirts, blue shirts, feet kicking out of the ball, and it's eventually gone behind. No, not behind, I beg your pardon. It's gone out for a throw-in to Arsenal. They're 10 seconds away from another Premier League win, and that's the loudest I've heard the fans this evening. The red and white flags are waving in the Putney end away to our left. They believe this season could be Arsenal's season. Bukayo Saka roars at the Arsenal fans on the full-time whistle. Declan Rice joins in as well. They've had to work really hard for that win tonight. It's come from a set-piece goal. Saka's corner flicked on by Gabriel and finished by Leandro Trossard. But you can see from that post-match reaction, Franny Benali, how hard that was, how much it means, and actually how important they know every single point is going to be this season if they're going to win the Premier League.
Exactly, and we spoke beforehand, Ali, didn't we, about, you know, with respect to Fulham, these are the kind of games where they have to turn up, they've got to put a performance in, and they've got to come away with the maximum points if they want to have those hopes of winning the Premier League this season. It certainly wasn't easy. Fulham have made it extremely hard for them. They were hard to break down. They offered stuff going forward as well, and especially given you look at the difference between the two clubs, the spending power, the players that they can attract Arsenal, the players that come off the substitutes bench. There's a big difference, so you've got to give credit to Fulham. You know, they're a tough side to come up against, and as we said in the comms, that set piece was the big difference on the night.
Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton waiting to take the calls on 6:06. I know Chris is going to love producer George's stats, so I hope he's listening. Against the equivalent opponents last season, so the equivalent games last season, Arsenal are now already 7 points better off than the points they got from these games last season. The season has started well for them. They are a definite bonded unit, standing over there all together as a club. Players coaching staff, manager Mikel Arteta just moves away. They celebrate the win with their fans right now. We're handing you over to 606 shortly. Let's check in on the Scottish Premiership though. 5:45 kick-off tonight. Leaders Hearts at the start of the evening away to Kilmarnock. Here's Kenny Crawford.
89 minutes gone, Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 3. So as it stands, Derek McInnes's visitors are going to go 5 points clear at the top of the Premiership, with Celtic not playing Dundee until tomorrow. A convincing performance, Halkett, and a Braga brace with the goals. It's Kilmarnock 0, Hearts 3 with a few minutes of added time to go.
So Arsenal 3 points clear at the top of the Premier League table. Ange Postecoglou sacked by Nottingham Forest today. So much to react to on 606 this evening. What a game at Selhurst Park as well. Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 3. Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton waiting to take your calls on 606 here tonight at Craven Cottage. It has finished Fulham 0, Arsenal 1, and Arsenal are 3 points clear at the top of the table. Time for 606.